Move cows that don't want to be moved. Instead of trying to move the cows to the water, just install a Keln Solar livestock watering system. With a Keln Solar livestock watering system, you can put your pump pretty much anywhere without the cost of hooking up to the grid. Leave the cows where they are and move the water to the cows. Learn more about the Keln Solar livestock watering system at kelnsolar.com. Keln Solar, we move water.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
That's right. It's the Tuesday show for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Barney Shankaruk, Derek Bidwell with you for the next 3 hours. Going to be joined by a number of Sasky gentlemen, including Dave Thomas, live or pretty much live from Rider practice. And oh boy, does he have stories for us today on what went down at Mosaic Stadium. Glenn Suter slides in hour two. Really curious to get Glenn's take on some interesting fines in the CFL that came down yesterday. I know he's going to want to talk about that and all things CFL. Some news on the CHL, Canadian Hockey League, going to be taking on the U.S. development team in some interesting exhibition contests this year. In hour three, Arash Madani joins us. We'll go NFL, we'll go CFL with Arash Madani. And then also in hour three, what an interview. Speaking of Sasky gentlemen, Rhett Warner, former Saskatoon Blade, Florida Panther, Buffalo Sabre, Calgary Flames. Rhett Warner gives us his take on current NHL news, academies, when kids should go to academies, NCAA, CHL hockey, and there's a possibility we could see Rhett Warner on the television screen this weekend at the Rider Stamps game. He wants to. He might be going and might be getting really busy, he's saying. So much in the next 3 hours. Lots of fun, like I said. Derek Bidwell, You're here with me for the next 3 hours. I know you really wanted to be on that Rhett Warner interview. Unfortunately, you had some things tying you up because you and Warner, you guys go way back. You're Mary and Graham. You're North End Saskatoon guys.
Yeah, I've known Rhett since I think he was about, 7 years old, 9 years old, somewhere around there. We used to rough him up a little bit. I remember when this tells you how far back that was, because he's a much, much bigger guy than I am. What we used to do all the time is when we played street hockey when he was younger, we would always make him play goal. And then we'd bring out that frozen orange Canadian Tire ball, right, that you played street hockey with.
Yeah.
And then Rhett would just leave the whole net open, just stand against the post, just leave you the whole net open, and we'd still fire it off his thigh. No! With his pace setter, Raiders sweats on that said down the side there. Oh, yeah, those are beauties.
Those pace
setters.
I've
known him a long time.
Those were the 1980 versions of like Lululemon, although they didn't shape the body as well as as Lulu. Lulu figured something out. Pace setters, not so much. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Always a great night for Western Pizza and all their perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek food you love, like souvlaki, salad, and ribs. Well, call your local Western Pizza. Find out what the special is tonight. Dave Thomas has joined us. Hey, Dave, as we bring you in here, before we get going with big Rider news, Bidsy was just talking about playing street hockey back in the day. Gentlemen, Colson and Curtis are here as well. It happened yesterday to 13-year-old Roman, my son. Oh. It happened. Roman took his first major league shot, you know where, while playing hockey. While playing hockey.
Wow.
Yeah, down for a long time. Down for a long time.
Down, long time.
Yeah, this morning, walking around like he rode a horse from Saskatoon to Phoenix. Yeah. So
I remember when that happened to me. I had to go full MC Hammer pants, sweats pulled way down, like my dad's husky sweats, just to keep everything
bound to happen. Right? There's protective equipment. But protective equipment just doesn't do it all. Doesn't matter what part of your body. So for us five guys here chatting sports, I had to throw that one out. It was the first one for the boy last night. All right, Dave, rider practice. We're getting ready for a huge game. They're all going to be huge from here on in Calgary on Friday. You got the call. Practice today. Things got real.
Wow, what a coincidence. The same thing happened to me in hockey last night. No, just kidding.
First, I thought we had audio issues. That was pretty good.
I'll be here all week. First and foremost, we put it out on the social tweet machine, and Rider Nation believes that the sky is falling. The sky is not falling. The team had a bad practice day today, and they were called out on it by their head coach. It started very early on in the workout. Right after the team comes out, they generally work on special teams, and then they do what's called a walkthrough for their offense and defense. The team was doing that. They did not execute it at a very high level, so head coach Corey May stopped everything, called everybody in, set the tone for the practice, and let them know what he felt about it, and then they went about their business. And again, it was somewhat lackluster at times. There wasn't a lot of execution. There were guys that weren't huddled up right. The scout team wasn't running the right wasn't running the right drills, weren't in the right places. There were passes being dropped. There were, again, the whole thing just started rolling downhill. And at one point, Coach Mays had enough of it. He said, let's go, everybody into the locker room. So he took the entire team off the field. They went into the Rider locker room. They were there for about 5 to 7 minutes. The players then took it upon themselves to go back out onto the field and finish off their practice, which they did, and then went back into their meetings to prepare for Calgary. So the sky isn't falling, but definitely a message was sent today from the coach that what they are doing isn't good enough.
I wonder what the odds would be if a guy could sprinkle on a garbage can was kicked. You know what that's like, right? That locker room tirade, whatever's around. Garbage can kick, Gatorade jug thrown on the ground. Although that new Rider locker room is pretty swank. I know you, like Dave. You got a bunch of Coach May stuff here. The one thing you asked him, we'll hear it right now, is when they went through all this, what was the message that he sent to the team?
We just got to approach every day like we're trying to accomplish something. I thought, it wasn't our best day today. Yeah, man. So we didn't meet the standard.
Yeah, well, off a bye week, practice number 2, right, Bidsy?
Guys are moving. Yeah, they're moving a little slow. But you can look at it the other way and go, "Hey, you had a lot of time off, guys. You should be raring to go." But
the second clip here, Dave, and I know you went through all this. You asked him more about the emotions of the day.
We talk about the standard that we want in this facility, and I just felt we didn't meet it really since the beginning of the day, and it kind of trickled into practice, and we had to address that. So, I thought we had a great day yesterday. We're always looking to be better each day. I thought we kind of failed at that today, so it was just a message that we got to come to work. We got a lot to play for. We got to prove it each day, though.
Dave, you're at practice every day. You're around the team all the time. Did you sense any of this while practice was going on, or was it hard for you to sense kind of sitting in the media scrum?
Oh, no, right away. Like, again, when you walked into the building, I thought the team was maybe a little bit tardy coming out onto the turf. And as a coach, as a player, I know that the one thing that I always emphasized and was emphasized towards me, if you think that your time is more important than the team's time or my time, then you're terribly mistaken. And I thought the tone was set when the team kind of came out of the field slowly. And then, like I said, they stopped practice. They stopped everything that they were doing to try to get that level up, of course, of efficiency, to send that message. And again, I think it was a tone that was just set very early in the workout. And unfortunately, it just didn't seem to get a lot better as things started to snowball for whatever reason.
Yeah, because he just talked about standard there. So in this clip, you asked him what wasn't up to standard.
There's a lot of stuff, man. Just how we want to execute certain things, and just we know what it's supposed to look like. It kind of didn't look like that today. Even stuff that we carried over from yesterday, we just didn't meet our expectation, and that's something. I think it's my job to hold everybody to that expectation. And when we don't, we just need a subtle reminder. So I'm looking forward to seeing what tomorrow looks like for these guys.
Dave, sorry, Bids, I'm not trying to hijack everything here. I'm just asking, was there one side of the ball or one group maybe more so that triggered this? Like, when you're practicing, it doesn't matter what level of whatever sport, and your kid or your coach goes off and freaks out on the team, which happens, and it needs to happen. A lot of times there's maybe like one group or a couple of guys that really facilitate it. Anything there, Dave? Could you pinpoint, with the defense, offense, special, anything?
I would say just the team as a whole didn't look sharp. And again, whether it was scout team, whether it was the defense, offense, again, they just didn't look sharp and dialed in, and definitely not up to, and that's the key word here, is the standard that Coach Mace is trying to put in his first season, and that was not up to his standard in that workout. And the one thing that I was trying to somewhat dissect as I was, thinking about the way things were materializing and shaping up as we were inside Mosaic Stadium, Pat Burns, and again, I can't remember if it was in his book or if it was just an opportunity I had to listen to him, but he used to talk about when he was coaching, he'd go off on his team. And sometimes it was organically, in the meaning that, just the way that things were going, they transpired that he needed to go ahead, get emotional and evoke that emotion. While other times it was, hey, I know this team needs a kick in the pants, so I'm going to find a way for me to be able to give this team a kick in the pants. And in this situation with head coach Corey Mace, I would suggest that this wasn't contrived. This was all organic, and it just happened on his own. And he got upset with the way that the team was performing, and he wanted it addressed, and he wanted it addressed in his way and quickly.
That's a good point, Bidsy, because you've seen it a lot too, either covering or playing sports. When you were playing football, it was like maybe it was me, because I was always the shibanik, as my mom called the little attitude kid, where I was always like, meh, he's not really mad at us. He's just trying to get a rise out of us, trying to figure out the coach. But yeah, sometimes it does come across contrived, and other times it is organic.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember when we were younger playing hockey here in Saskatoon, I was fortunate enough to be coached by Jerome Engel, who's a legendary coach of the Saskatoon Blades, with the Saskatoon Blades organization. Anyway, as a little kid, every once in a while, he just felt we needed a reset button, and he would just go around and whack us all on top of the helmet and give us a literal reset button. And you just kind of put your head down, and he would whack you with the old fiberglass Canadian on top of the helmet there and give you a reset. But these guys are professionals, of course, and these guys are quite a bit older, and it's almost kind of a little disappointing, Dave, that these guys aren't a little more fired up or have a little more fire in their belly with the urgency of everything.
Well, and I think that's what Coach Mace saw today. And again, I'm not going to say that this team isn't giving effort, because effort to me is the one thing that's non-negotiable. And I believe the effort was there. The execution wasn't. And the commitment to details and being detail-oriented wasn't up to the standard. And that was the word that Coach Mace used over and over again today, was the standard. He's set a standard, and today the team was not up to that standard. Now, again, you're not going to be able to go off on a team like this that often, right? Because you mentioned it, Bitsy. These are professional athletes, right? So you can't go off over and over and over again. But I definitely believe the message was sent loud and clear to this group. And again, it was established all the way back in training camp. You remember the team was going offside, so he made them do sprints right in the middle of camp. So the expectation has been defined, it has been set, and today it was reinforced.
So just clearing things up, that when Mr. Engel hit Bidsy over the head with the stick. That was like back in the 80s. We're talking back in the 80s here. You can't go back and get mad at him now unless you're the CFL. If you're the CFL, you maybe can go find him at this point. It's that long ago. Another clip coming up. You talked to him, Dave, and you asked him a question, because this probably would have been one of the questions I would have definitely asked too, is like having to do this in week 16 of the season.
That's pro ball, man. I've been around teams where things like this happen, and we're not in the situation that we have. It's because the standard is the standard. A record is irrelevant. It's just, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to build? Current day, and really the makeup of what this team's supposed to be for the future as well. So, the week 16, week 1 training camp. When we don't meet the expectations, it has to be talked about.
Very good, because then I absolutely love the follow-up question here, and you asked him is, how do you define the standard?
Coming to work every day, looking to find ways to get better, of really fighting complacency, regardless of the circumstances, because there's no perfect. There's always something to work on. So you want to make sure that, the guys in the room, the staff, and everybody in this building, truthfully, is finding ways to improve each day. And that's the standard. So, when you see it and it's not, that's the disappointing part. But like I say, the plus is it's day 2 of the week. We still got another day tomorrow. We got walkthrough. Excited to see how the guys respond.
Makes sense, right? Because he talked about everybody, the coaches and the players, and he knows that. Yeah, like what week did it start? I think it was maybe the 3rd game when you started the pitchforks in Saskatchewan and Rider Nation started turning the other way, which we knew was inevitable. It was going to happen. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt, Bidsy, that these coaches, they're not on the hot seat, and anyone that thinks they should be gone needs to check their house for a gas leak. That's not going to happen. It's their first years. Like, they've done some pretty good things here. But with that said, there's a lot of pressure. It's Rider Nation, and they for sure would be feeling it and wanting more than anyone to turn this around.
Oh, for sure. Like you said, their feet are being put to the fire because, this is where we live. This is what happens in Saskatchewan. I don't know what you do. If you're a coach that is coaching the team and they're struggling at the moment, maybe you get the missus to fill up the car with gas and go to the grocery store and all that stuff. I'm not saying that I would hide, and by no reason
That's
should they
just
hide.
Crazy talk.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
This isn't the olden days.
I'm talking about hiding. I'm not talking about dividing household duties.
I'm
saying that maybe just to, take the heat off you a little bit, because everybody would recognize Corey Mace, of course. He's a big man. He's a recognizable man. And Rider Nation is very passionate. So, it would be a tough place in the Queen City, anywhere in the province, when the Riders are struggling. And with every game, it just seems to go up and up and up, right? It gets ramped up. So I understand everybody's feeling the heat.
And maybe just to build on that, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? And this is a new coaching staff that has come in, and I'm not giving any excuses. And like you said, the pressure is starting to build. The one thing that I've observed of this coaching staff is that there is absolutely, and again, let's face it, the passion in Rider Nation is unparalleled in our country. But I would suggest that there is no bigger pressure than what this coaching staff and team right now puts on themselves in order to perform, because seeing the level of care, seeing the level that they've gone ahead and really been professional about everything that they have done and instilling a new work ethic and going ahead and instilling the pillars that they want this team to be built on as a foundation. To me, I would suggest, they are, if you think that Rider Nation's upset, you should see how upset they are, because they're the ones that are holding themselves to this standard as well. Not just the players, the coaches. It goes right from top to bottom in the organization.
We'll get to more Coach Mace clips a little bit later, but it's Yeah, I like it, right? It's not that he's done it that often. We talked about it early, like you said, Dave, back in May, which seems so long ago. Got to send a message, and it did seem organic, and they are coming off that bye week. So I wonder if the coaches said, you guys go and finish this today, or if the coaches just stayed and the leaders of the team took it upon themselves to say, let's get our butts back out there and we're finishing this practice.
Well, to be completely truthful, it was just a horrible, horrible ending to the practice day because it started just before the team went off the field with Nick Weeb going down and having to be taken off on a cart, which is terrible for the U of S Husky grads. So, of course, our thoughts are with him. But then, of course, practice came to an end. But fortunately, Trevor Harris took a moment and did talk to me, which I guess we'll hear from a little bit later on. But the one thing that he told me was that, okay, the coaches came in, they said, that's it. We're done. If we're not going to execute and play up to our standard, we're done. The leadership that's in the locker room went ahead and said, no, we are not done, and we're going to go back out into the field. So the players went back out themselves and continued on with the remainder of practice. Head coach Corey Mace wasn't on the field for most of that team period. He came back on at the end to wrap up the workout and set the tone for what's going to be a very important practice day tomorrow, a closed practice that the team will be holding.
And I'll just interject quickly here. I was just going to say, I totally agree with those leaders because I think you got to finish properly, right? Otherwise, you carry that negative, toxic kind of cloud over you to the next practice as well, right? It's just like, hey, you don't with the misses, or you don't go to bed angry, right? You get it solved and you move on, and then you have a new day the next day.
It's not how it works in real life. You've been listening to too many country songs. That's not how it happens in real life.
That's the way it happened on Family Ties with Alex B. Keaton. That's the way it always happened.
What was the boyfriend, Family Ties, the leather jacket, big hair guy with the
Nick Mallory.
Nick. Yeah, Nick was trouble. He was from the wrong side of the tracks, that guy.
I found
it was 52 years old dating a high school girl. What could have gone wrong?
That was awkward too.
Nick's daughter was friends with Mallory. That Family Ties. That guy that did that painting. That was a very nice painting at the beginning of the show.
Oh yeah, in the intro.
Sidetrack here. I'm watching this IPTV that I have now, and I go to this 24/7. And in the drop-down menu, and I'm like, what's this? There's 540 TV shows. Each has their own station, and they just play in repeat. And one of them is Family Ties. And I'm like, if I'm ever feeling down in the dumps, I'm just going to go and watch a little Family Ties.
Or Silver Spoons, maybe? A little Different Strokes.
Yeah, I was never... Different Strokes, yes. I was never a Silver... Happy Days. I don't mind Happy Days.
Number one.
Yeah.
Three's Company's up there too.
Arnold's is one of the funnest places in the world from Happy Days.
It always was.
No one ever seemed like they were in a bad mood at Arnold's. Okay, so back on track here. Nick Weeb, gutted for that guy. When they bring out the cart like that, Dave, obviously not a good sign. We don't want to speculate if it's the knee again or what it is. Gutted for that kid guy that was just so excited for the year, finally got back, and now this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And for Nick, again, it's the first major injury of his career that he sustained, that ACL, back in the final game of his career with the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. Like you say, he worked his tail off. He was trying so hard to get back, and the team, went out of their way to welcome their second-round draft pick, giving him his number from college into the pros. They presented it to him at the Dog's Breakfast. So, again, a lot of goodwill between the two. And Nick looked at the film, and I know that he'd want a couple of things back from his pro debut, but it was his pro debut, and he was so proud. His parents flew in for the game. It was such a terrific thing. So, again, we are fully speculating the worst, but we're hoping for the best when it comes to Nick Weeb.
The other one that when the Riders released what's going on in practice today, Tuesday again, was Micah Johnson did not participate. It says an illness. So let's hope that's the case, that it's some bug that's going through his system. There is a lot, in serious here, not Family Ties, Fantasy World, there is a lot of stuff going around out there. The people have been sick for weeks. So that, hey, they're not immune, or, they don't live in a bubble. So, and then Jacob Brammer, anything just limited again today, Dave, for him?
Yeah, very limited. He just worked with the scout team, so I would be fairly confident right now to suggest that our offensive line for just the third time this season will be the same offensive line in back-to-back games. So again, just the third time this year that they've been able to say that. But yeah, we're probably going to see the same 5 go out there with Logan Ferland at center.
Hey, Bidsy, they're going into Calgary here. Usually my buddies play a drinking game because you love to talk about Calgary. You're a big Calgary guy. I love that shirt. That is if you're watching the stream right now, Bidsy's got a world class. You've worn that at Stampede for sure.
Oh yeah,
that shirt.
Yeah. This is probably one of my go-tos. Yeah,
that's a nice tarp. This game in Calgary on a Friday, in Saturday. Atmosphere, huge Rider fan, huge Rider presence, support. I'm thinking, like, could you maybe ballpark? Let's say when Ryan Pollock was in here before the Labor Day game, he said that he would ballpark roughly about 5,000 Blue Bomber fans in Mosaic Stadium for Labor Day. If you could ballpark, as Rhett Warner calls it later, you're going to hear the dump. A McMahon Stadium. How many Rider fans would you think in that one?
Because
half of that city,
say between 5 and 8, something
half
like that.
Half of that city's from Saskatchewan.
That's right. So many people are transplanted there. We used to call it the Christmas game because it was red, green, and white in the stands, and there's a lot of green. Speaking of Rhett Warner and the dump that he calls it, he went to McMahon Stadium for his stag, one of his stags. And
did he just rent it out?
No, they had a limo bus and everything. I was talking with Doug W., his dad, off to the side because I had to go work in the game, so I wasn't partaking with the stag crew. But they all took their shirts off and spelled the guy's name, and that he's terrible. Let's just say that. But they could never get all the guys together, so it never worked because they were all in the beer line, or there was a guy with his head under a tree feeling ill, or there was another. So it never really worked. They just had a bunch of letters up there. But yes, the contingent of Saskatchewan fans at McMahon Stadium will be very strong. I have pals actually that have season tickets to the Stamps. These are well-off guys. Just so they can get a parking pass, just so they can tailgate for the Riders game, and they don't go to the other games.
Really? What's the tailgate like? I'm curious on this tailgate.
Tailgate's going to be huge. Luke and I have been invited to a couple, and I haven't told Luke this yet. And they said, what are the odds that you guys will stop by? And they said, we'll even tell you what's on the menu to try to entice Luke, so who knows?
Oh, what time would I have to leave here on Friday to go partake in just that?
This pulled pork sandwich thing. Yeah,
I heard ribs.
It'll be good.
Drive to Calgary just to go to I'd go to the game too, partake, and then I'd hit Pete's Drive-In on the way out. Dave, do you still have your mechanic buddy that they go paint their chests at the Huskies games?
Yeah. No, they don't do that anymore. He kind of
behind
that.
Okay, we got a really good Trevor Harris interview coming up with Dave in a bit. Dave, we'll let you go. We're also going to hear some more Corey Mace, and really looking forward to what the rest of the week holds with the Riders. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, Dave.
You bet. Take care, guys.
Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders on the Western Pizza guest hotline. We're going to take a quick break. If you didn't get a chance yesterday at sportscage.com, that's where you go and watch if you want to watch the stream. But also, Dave did a good story on the new rider that's in town, Raquel Armstead from Ottawa. Good story there, and he talks about his time in Ottawa, playing the Riders, all that. Also, a story on the new Riders QB that was brought in. So you can go to sportscage.com to check out all that. And don't forget the poll. We got it up for one more day. Should CHL hockey players be allowed to play NCAA? You can vote there. It is the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com, and as always, on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op Liquor Stores. Now open in Harbor Landing and Rochdale Boulevard.
This is Country Gold with Steve Harmon, your home for the country hits of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Hello, I'm Steve Harmon, inviting you to join me for Country Gold. Each week we play country favorites from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and we check in with the stars who made them, too. This weekend on Country Gold.
Country Gold, brought to you by Trent Dickin and his experienced team at Flooring Superstore. Saturday mornings at 6 and Sunday afternoons at 4 on the Voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
What type of vehicle should you use for a fall hayride?
I bet you're going to be punny.
An automobile?
Ugh. Whatever type of vehicle you drive, fuel up at Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
As a member, fueling up means
sharing in the equity.
Buy a car wash or some snacks from the C-store.
It's like putting money in the bank.
You better believe it.
Sherwood Co-op gas bars.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
For pizza lovers who are short on time and hungry for a great deal, Little Caesars Pizza is ready when you are. Walk in, grab your hot and ready favorites, and walk out. It's just that easy. Try the classic hot and ready medium pepperoni pizza for only $7.99. You get a delicious quality pizza at a great price. It's available all day, every day for just $7.99 at Little Caesars. And try other hot and ready favorites like their iconic Crazy Bread or Caesar Wings. Little Caesars Pizza, 20 years of hot and ready.
This is Roy Rutledge at the Weyburn Livestock Exchange. Our next cattle sale here in Weyburn is Wednesday next week, September the 25th. This will be a regular sale of cows and cows and cow bulls. These cows and bulls are selling well. The fat market or finished market has peeled back in the United States, so of course that affects all butcher cattle. Even though it isn't as good as it once was, it is still pretty good and not likely to go up again this year. If you have butcher cows and bulls to market, this will be the sale to bring them to. Book them in now at 842-4574. Our fall flyer, fall schedule, should be in the mail this week. Watch for it. A lot of people look forward to it. Inevitably, someone gets missed every year. It's not intentional. All you have to do is call the Weyburn Livestock Exchange, and one will get mailed to you directly, 842-4574, or you can just check our website at weyburnlivestock.com. More and more people are doing that. weyburnlivestock.com.
Compact and mighty and ready for a challenge. It's the Kubota BX80 compact tractor. Tough enough for your loading, mowing, and snow removal jobs. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months. See your Kubota dealer for details.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Interesting stuff, Bidsy, down at Rider Practice today. Capital Ford Lincoln text line is buzzing. Jim, you could tell... Sorry, not Jim. Where is it here?
Jim Bob?
Jim Bob. Yeah. Jim. No, jeez. Shake up. Don. Jim talks about Don Matthews would have benched or cut somebody 5 games ago. Everyone from top down has no fear of job loss. It shows in the effort. I don't agree with Jim there. Plus, there's been a lot of injuries, Jim. It's just how you start slicing people. We're kind of short on bodies. And we're what game besides that Edmonton game? There hasn't been a lot of games that we were awful in. Yeah, we need to learn how to finish. There's no doubt about that. It's just, don't. We just do not go down there. Let's really though. If things don't go well Friday in Calgary. You'll be able to see the smoke from up there in Saskatoon.
Yeah, like when Fred Flintstone used to flip out on the Flintstones and the steam. Oh, no, that was Mr. Slate. The steam would shoot out of his ears when Fred would screw up at the rock quarry. He would drop another rock on somebody or something like that, or drop a rock on his office. I think that this next one is one that could really send them to Planet Bizarro. I'm going to be the optimist and say it's going to work out, but if it doesn't, in the dump, as Rhett called it, there's no home field advantage there for Calgary. Calgary hasn't had it all year. Hardly anybody shows up to those games. The team isn't doing well. The state people they've given up on that stadium. They don't want the experience of it all, so they don't go. Plus, Calgary fans generally are kind of terrible. They kind of only go with what's in vogue. But it'll be a lot of Rider fans there. I wouldn't even doubt that there'd be more Rider fans there.
They are. Even a lot of the Saskey people that moved there back in the 80s and 90s forgot where they're from. And I'm too
Become
posh.
A little snotty.
I'm too posh to go to I'm not going to a football game. I live in Calgary. Yeah, it's not Greenwich Village. It's Calgary.
Yeah, they're like, oh, if I can, a luxury suite? Do we have a luxury suite? Oh, I'm not going to sit out with the commoners.
Public bathroom, no. Look at my high-end denim or whatever. My new boots. The funny story on Calgary. And snobby Calgary people, sorry out there if you guys are listening from Calgary.
Yeah, we don't mean you. We mean everybody else.
I actually don't mind your city.
I like it.
Decent golf courses.
Yeah.
A lot of buddies live there. We were on a pub crawl. The only time I ever went to a Stampede pub crawl in a major transition part of my life, just needed to get out of Saskatoon. I was actually possibly just going to stay in Calgary. And, remember the school? Like those pub crawls for Stampede back in the day were crazy. It was bus after bus after bus. And it started like 11 and you just went from bar to bar. So anyways, everyone's getting all banged up. Mm-hmm. And there was these couple of females and they were just so rude to like everybody, especially the group that I was chumming with. But I wasn't really paying attention to anything. I was just trying to...
Or were they chirping that as if you weren't worthy to be in their presence? They were hard
chirping, yeah. And I didn't really care. I'm just trying to figure out how to get beverages on the bus because it was illegal. So I'm like, okay, these cargo shorts got to come in handy somewhere. And then she...
Put in a blue Rev in the side pocket?
And then she I remember it was something along the lines, this isn't verbatim, and I think the statute of limitations has passed, so it doesn't matter. She goes, you guys, just all you hicks from Saskatchewan. Mm-hmm. And I turn around and I'm like, settle down. I said, you're probably from Hafford anyway. And her one friend started losing it and goes, she's actually from Radisson. And I was like, yeah, see? You just don't. It's exactly what it was all about.
Her parents would be disappointed in her.
Yeah, you're from Saskey. People know you're from Saskey. Settle down.
And embrace it. We're awesome.
It's Calgary. It's not Laguna Beach.
Yeah, you're not trying to fit in the Big Apple.
Yeah, but that's crazy. That not a lot of people. Yeah, go to the games there, and you can see it. You can hear it. It's just not a hot ticket, as you say. I think, like you said, 8,000. Is that what you said? Around 8,000
I would say
Rider
there's
fans?
probably going to be around 8,000. Here's another thing I'll add in this about the dump McMahon Stadium is that I was the sideline host there for 10 years, lived in Calgary for 15, loved Calgary. Still, I would say majority of my really close pals are still in Calgary, some of them from Saskatchewan. But when I was there, attendance was kind of trailing off a little bit because the other cities were getting new stadiums and there were better tickets, and I think people were getting frustrated with McMahon. And now the corners are tarped off, so that's a bad sign when you got to start tarping things off so it doesn't look so empty. It's almost a kind of a lazy way of trying to fill it up or make it not look as bad, right?
Yeah, remember that?
That's bad when you get to that.
Jacksonville Jaguars were doing that in the NFL. That's actually a really good marketing idea for the Stamps. Tarps off zone, and then anybody that sits in there has to be tarps off.
Tarps off, yeah. Be full of Saskies for sure.
Probably be a lot of men in those I would think, yeah, sections. Okay, so Dave talked about it. Trevor Harris. If you're just tuning in, practice today. Corey Mace went off on the team, brought him back in. They didn't go back out. The team finished practice on their own. Dave caught up with quarterback Trevor Harris after the practice.
Trevor, obviously a very different type of practice day. It was stopped right before you went into your stretch session early on, and then coach takes you off the field. Maybe take me through today's events.
First one was just a quick reminder. Second one was because we didn't bring the energy. Yesterday was a great day, great energy and great enthusiasm, good execution. Today was not so much, and I think it was just sending a message that today the way we came out wasn't acceptable. And when that happened, us captains got together and we said we're going back out to finish practice. And so we went out there and we finished practice as players because we know where we need to be and what we're capable of. And so we went out there and finished practice.
Have you ever experienced anything like this in your career before?
Yeah. It's the good coaches have a good pulse for when the lock-in isn't right and when the energy's not right, and but you can feel the urgency from the guys, and just a couple lackluster plays here and there is what's cost us games, and today was just a great message, I thought, from Mace that it wasn't acceptable and we can't have it. And starts with me. I'm going to always make mistakes as well. It's playing in this position, but I'm going to go out there and give my best effort every single day, and so that's what we all need to be doing. And just today wasn't good enough in terms of us meeting that standard.
So what are your emotions right now? Are you disappointed? Are you frustrated? How do you feel?
It should kind of piss you off, right? I mean, piss me off. Just that's how it is, man. But it's an alpha male sport, and we have a job and responsibility to go out there and play well and mesh together as a team. And like I said, just the standard wasn't met today, and the message was received, and the response will be very good.
Is this result from frustration that's maybe starting to build on the past 7 weeks, or as Coach Corey Mace said, is this an isolated incident?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what Mace said, yeah. I mean, he made the decision and he did what he did. That's what if that's what he felt, that's exactly what it was.
So what are the expectations moving forward?
Just what our standard is high effort, high energy, high execution, and do what we need to do to make sure that we're prepared to play Calgary on Friday, which we will be, and we'll have an excited bunch, a rejuvenated bunch, and a bunch that's hungry to go out and get a win.
And I guess searching for something to take away from this, is it beneficial that this has happened now?
Hopefully it's a wake up message for us to make sure that we're on our P's and Q's and our details every day. And there's no such thing as a walk through practice on day 2 and or a lackluster practice. We need to bring the energy and effort every single day. And like I said, today wasn't good enough. And I'm glad it happened today instead of on Friday.
Yeah, leader, right? Has it happened before? Yeah. The only thing is, some people might say this isn't the best time, but some would say, no, this is a good time because we're getting into borderline desperation mode. So send a message. That's what Ron and Deborah are saying here. You can go off on the team once or twice a year. More than that, they just tune out. Yeah, it's like anything. It's like that boss or that coach or that significant other. Once in a while, you just tune them out.
Yeah, and then you know what happens with that when you're like kids? It's you say, and you're not the boss of me. So in kind of a grown-up way, that's what happens is as a professional athlete, they just tune it right out. It happens with Daryl Sutter all the time. Wherever he goes, I know he's not coaching right now. He's still getting paid. But that's what happened with him in Calgary. That's what happened with him in LA after a while. And then when he came back to Calgary or whatever, you can only kick the bucket, go after guys in a certain way so many times. You got to keep those aces for when you really need them because you play them too often. Guys just go, yeah, whatever. Yeah, give you the Heisman. And I've heard it before.
Yeah, that's the thing. In Calgary, they talk about, too, how I know they had a good showing. I still don't get how they did that last week, but it sounds like the team was turning on Dickinson.
I would be surprised if that's the case, but maybe it is. I'm not close enough there, but I know he's just absolutely respected by everybody, but who knows? Maybe there's a mutiny.
That's what I heard. That's exactly the word that I heard. And you can be respected, which is fine. But have you run your course?
I would think even the great courses, or coaches rather, they run their course.
Yeah, like you look at a guy,
groups.
Mike Tomlin for the Steelers in the NFL. Like, talk about a long time. John Cooper, Tampa Bay Lightning in the NHL.
Yeah,
probably a little bit different of a way of going about things for sure. So, it'd be nice for Rider fans if the team has a mutiny and they want to turn on their coach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we want them to just implode. Dumpster fire, please. We need 2 victories over you guys. Maybe you don't even show up for that last one. You pull the old senior hockey. We'll just give you half the gate. We won't show up. Take the win. It's the all-new Sports Cage. Thanks to everyone who's watching, streaming at thesportscage.com. And as always, on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
Hi, Jason here, General Manager at Capital Ford Lincoln, and I want to tell everyone that employee pricing has been extended to September 30th. Right now is the best time to get into a new Ford. On top of employee pricing and great financing rates, only Capital Ford is adding additional discounts as high as $2,500 over and above. Combining these 2 great offers generates savings as high as $20,500 off new 2024 models. See all the details at capitalfordlincoln.com. Hurry though, employee pricing ends September 30th.
Bidding is now open for the timed online land and farm equipment auction for Richard and Carol Arndt of Arcola, Saskatchewan. Register to bid at macauctioncompany.com. Up for auction, a quarter section of fertile land and a 1,700 square foot bungalow with numerous outbuildings just south of Arcola. Also selling a 2016 New Holland round baler, a 2013 MacDon 16-foot hay-bine, shop and woodworking tools, plus much more. Bidding closes this Thursday, September 19th at 10 a.m.
The Gleaner S98 is the culmination of a century of unique design and performance, adding more harvest performance through operator comfort, new technology, and simplified serviceability. The Gleaner S98 is a combine designed to propel your business forward. Gleaner's simple design drastically reduces compaction and increases fuel savings. Learn more about the Gleaner S98 at Nick's Service in Emerald Park or visit them online at nickservice.com.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50-50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early bird prize. This week it's a Whistler ski vacation and you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
It is for Saskatchewan Lotteries on this Tuesday, main fundraiser for over 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups. Sask Lottery, I really contributed to the sports, culture, and recreation groups this weekend.
Name something after you. Ball Diamond or something, maybe.
My NFL tickets were so off. Like, not even Tommy Lasorda close.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
were you a victim to the Saints and their crazy offensive output they've put on in
San Francisco? I can't wait to talk to Arash Madani about his beloved Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, Sam Darnold.
No, I don't. I do not bet on, for, against the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
You never know what you're going to get, or I know you're not a fan. You're a Patriots fan.
Bipolar. They're Jekyll and Hyde. I can't figure them out.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I don't want to figure them out. Just leave them alone.
Just stay away from them.
Right? When in doubt,
just watch
leave
them
out.
for entertainment. When in doubt, leave them out. Yeah, not bad.
Before 5 o'clock, so you got a little over an hour, Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50-50. It's for the game this weekend, riders5050.ca. But if you buy your ticket before 5 p.m. today, you're in for the early bird prize. And that early bird prize was the Whistler Ski Vacation. It includes flights, 3 nights accommodations for 2 at the Blackcomb Springs Suites, 1-day lift pass, and shuttle transfers, or you can take $3,600 cash.
I would love it if one of my relatives from Ituna won this and decided to not take the cash and go up to old fancy dancy Whistler and go up there and just show those people how to have a good time.
Shout out Ituna. We got the Ituna Trojans hat. Can we get? I don't even know what camera angle. If you're watching the stream, it's somewhere in the back. Ituna Trojans hat.
We had somebody. Sorry, Shank. I was just going to say I was at a wedding this past weekend, and somebody came up that listens. There it is. Hey! And somebody came up to me that listens to the show all the time. Shout out to Sean Pryle, one of the coaches with the Clavette Cougars. Oh. And he said he listens to the show all the time, driving back to Saskatoon from Clavette, loves the show, and talked to me about it, and just said, wow, you guys do a great job mentioning all those teams, Ituna, Clavette, all that stuff. Love the local football stuff that we do on Friday. We need people to email hi@sportscage.com, because we've got to figure out what our Friday night lights game is. Or maybe we'll pick 2, but we need your info. You have to help us help you. Hi@sportscage.com. Maybe we'll run down some of the high school games, if not today, tomorrow for sure, in and around southern and northern Saskatchewan. It is the all-new Sports Cage. Coming up in hour 2, Glenn Suter is going to join us. If you have any questions for Glenn, you can text him right now, 936-6262. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, because Glenn's still on the hot seat.
Is he still getting it? Because, last time I listened to the post game, I was like,
people want to shoot those orange hockey balls that you were talking about earlier. People want to shoot those at Glenn in Saskatchewan. If you're watching the stream at sportscage.com, and as always, we're on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Double R Auctioneering is conducting an online fundraiser auction for the Ituna Arena. This auction includes a Kubota zero-turn mower, liquid herbicide, canola seed, Traeger smoker, mini fridges, aerial spraying, truck and equipment inspections, farm tracks harvest bundle, grain cleaning, net wrap, cattle minnow, fire pit, coolers, collectibles, toys, tools, church pews, a fire suppression system, pump organ, hockey jersey, and so much more. The sale is on now and closes Monday, September 23rd at 10 a.m. Check it out, register, and bid online at doubleRauctions.net. That's doubleRauctions.net.
With over 380 conveniently located cardlock locations, Co-op offers the largest cardlock network in Western Canada. Count on us to keep you fueled 24/7, right from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, through to Thunder Bay, Ontario, and all points in between.
Regina Pats hockey is back, and that net is wide open to renew your plates. When you take that big slap shot, do it online with Dusick and Barlow. Request a quote for anything you need. It's a true breakaway, and as easy as it is for the Pats to score that winning goal. When it comes to online plate renewal, there's no high sticking involved, just the most valuable players in the game. Your local Regina insurance brokers, Dusick and Barlow. Local owners, local business, saskinsurance.com.
It's time. Go, Pats, go! The new season is here, and your Regina Pats are ready to rise to the challenge. Our home opener is September 21st against the Brandon Wheat Kings. Get to the ITC building early for pregame entertainment, food, and fun with the fans. Tailgate admission is free for ticket holders. So get your tickets today at reginapats.com. Watch the puck drop and see them rise.
When you have a big job on the go, always head to Prairieland Rental for everything from skid steers to excavators to jackhammers. You'll get everything done with equipment just from Prairieland. You won't need to go anywhere else. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They're very local and very Sask. They appreciate your local business, and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street. prairielandrental.com.
For pizza lovers who are short on time and hungry for a great deal, Little Caesars Pizza is ready when you are. Walk in, grab your hot and ready favorites, and walk out. It's just that easy. Try the classic hot and ready medium pepperoni pizza for only $7.99. You get a delicious quality pizza at a great price. It's available all day, every day for just $7.99 at Little Caesars. And try other hot and ready favorites like their iconic Crazy Bread or Caesar Wings. Little Caesars Pizza, 20 years of hot and ready.
Good afternoon. It's mostly cloudy and it's 29 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op Liquor Store. Now open in Harbor Landing and on Rochdale Boulevard, and by Mercedes-Benz Regina for those who can. Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. A pharmacy student has been dismissed from his internship at a Regina drugstore after the student was caught snooping through the medical records of 114 people. Saskatchewan's Privacy Commissioner says the student was found going through the records of people not under the student's care by another pharmacy employee and was immediately escorted out of the building. The student's placement at the pharmacy started in May and lasted until June. The individuals who had their records inappropriately accessed have been notified. Smoke definitely made its presence felt in Saskatchewan. Environment Canada meteorologist Terry Lang says the last couple of years have been active for smoke coming in from wildfires.
There's one year that there was just a couple of years ago, I think it was 2022, there was very little in the way of smoke. But the last 2 years have been quite active, and then the year before that was quite active as well. So it just talks to how active wildfires have been in the last decade or so.
Regina had about 175 hours of smoke present this year, down from 263 hours in 2023. And speaking of wildfires, Jasper, Alberta is asking the provincial government for help offsetting lost property tax revenue over the next few years after a third of its homes and businesses were destroyed by wildfire this summer. The town's chief administrator, Bill Given, says without support from the government, town council could be forced to drastically cut services or raise property taxes while the community tries to rebuild.
Asking the remaining tax base to make up for that revenue loss could become excessive and cause significant financial strain on homeowners and businesses. Should council choose an alternative of essentially reducing core municipal expenditures, this would reduce core municipal services to an extent that would be even greater than we saw during the COVID pandemic.
The town estimates that at least $2 million in annual property tax revenue was lost as a result of the fire. And when Connie Chung started in the news business in the 1960s, she says women were uncommon in the newsroom. Chung says she felt it was harder being a woman in the news business than being an Asian in the news business.
Women were just aardvarks. We were considered so unusual and unaccepted that I was really fighting the women's war. Not as much a minority war, because there was just nobody who was Asian.
Chung's new memoir, Connie, is available in stores and online. That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your 620 CKRM weather is next.
Style. Performance. Upgrade your daily driver to the new 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLB 250. This SUV packs a punch with features that make a normal drive exhilarating. The ultimate in automotive luxury can be yours for $419 bi-weekly. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at Mercedes-Benz Regina will help you find the exact model you want. Take a test drive and feel the difference. Stop by for an award-winning experience at Mercedes-Benz Regina, recipient of the Star Dealer Award.
When you shop at Sherwood Co-op, you're contributing to your community,
while building equity and putting money back in your pocket.
Others may claim to be local, but Sherwood Co-op is truly local.
Rooted in your community for over 90 years.
They're a proud Saskatchewan company
who continue to support hundreds of community organizations each year.
Like the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit at the Regina General Hospital and the Cancer Foundation of Saskatchewan.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Line X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialist in Grenfell, servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies with some showers and thunderstorms possible and a low of 17. Tomorrow, a risk of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise sunny and partly cloudy with a high of 24. On Thursday, mostly cloudy skies with showers at times and breezy with a high of 18. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy, winds from the southeast at 24, and it's 25 degrees. Regina is also mostly cloudy, winds are from the southeast at 31, and it's 29 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
Whether Smokies after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Yeah, thanks to Saskatchewan Lotteries sponsoring the Tuesday program here. It's Barney Shinkaruk, Derek Bidwell, Colson Schultz, and Curtis Gammon. With you, we're going to be joined by Glenn Suter here momentarily. Talk a little CFL football and the ongoings there. Hey, Bidsy, guess what? No Pick the Score tickets to give away today, but our friends at Deer Valley Golf Course, they said we got 2 passes. Rest of the season, there's still a couple of nice weeks of golf out in the Qu'Appelle Valley. 2 passes with cart to Deer Valley. 18 holes of golf. All we want you to do is text in the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Where are you listening? Where do you listen to the Sports Cage from? That's all we want to know. Thanks to our friends at Deer Valley. Like I said, get this, though. Deer Valley said, we got to give us a plug. I said, of course we're going to give you a plug. And you can play the rest of the year for free. You buy your membership for next year right now. You got the next 3, so they're probably going to be open another 3-4 weeks. You're playing for free this year.
That's
Where are you?
Pretty good incentive,
golfing.
right? Like it really is. I mean, there's a lot of golf left still. Knock on wood.
Hey, honey, where are you going? Going golfing again. It's free.
Yeah.
Rest of the year's free.
Yeah.
They're basically paying me to go golf.
Yeah. Do you want me to go out with the fellas and go to the local watering hole? Or do you want me to go golf for free?
Or it could be the ladies. Get your membership, ladies, for next year. There's no better way to get away from your man than going 5 hours with the girls going golfing and then dieseling a bunch of wine.
Birdie juice.
Oh, and they get their little outfits. It's perfect. The girl group of golf is just as good as the guy group of golf. It's just different.
For sure. I have been beaten by many, many, many great female golfers. And not even that great. I'm just terrible. They're better than me.
The one thing, sorry ladies, the one thing you're not as good at, planning trips. They're always have these big plans. Oh, we're going to go here. We're going to go golf here. We're going to go do that. And then it never comes to fruition. Never.
Could be. I did just have a buddy get married, though, and I've noticed that the ladies are really stepping up their stagettes.
Is that my
buddy. Yeah. So my buddy, he went to Invermere. They did the golf thing. 2-3 days of golf, have lots of pops, and just be idiots,
donkeys,
and just be donkeys. And the gals, though, his wife and her crew, he goes, so we're going golfing, and it's not going to cost that much. I said, well, what's Chelsea doing? Oh, they're going to Miami. They want to go to Miami for a week.
Oh,
a little more expensive.
Trumped in. See, it's the other way in my. It's like, well, I think we're all gonna go to Medicine Hat for the weekend. Okay, where are you guys going? Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
We're going golfing in New York to Bethpage. That's why. Hey, it's nice to get away. It's nice to see the world. That's my excuse. It's getting a little bit tired, but hey, no. Anyways, Deer Valley Golf Course, 2 passes. Where are you listening to the Sportscage from? Where do you listen from? You got to use them this year, and you can play golf for the rest of the year free there if you pick up your membership for next season.
The all-new Sportscage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glenn Suter is brought to you by Quality Tire. With 9 locations across Saskatchewan, visit qualitytire.ca.
All right, Glenn, let's get into fines in the CFL right off the bat here. If you're watching the stream at sportscage.com, you see, Glenn, you were so worried about not being coming unshaven last week.
I forgot to again.
No, you can't. You can't tell. Curtis Gavin here brought up a good point. He's like, if you come to the studio, all of our guests that come live to the studio get a free hot shave. So
love it. I'm in.
Tommy gun.
Plunk your head in the sink in the bathroom down the hall and shave away. Find someone. Curtis is going to find some old towels. Miles Brown gets fined, comes out yesterday. I talked about it on the show yesterday. I thought it looked pretty hokey, waiting that long. The bye week and all that. The thing that I started thinking today, it's like, what if Miles went, bye week, hey, no, I got, and then now all of a sudden you're hit with this fine. It's like, kind of already spent that money. Glenn, I don't know what your take is. Should they maybe have come to this conclusion 7 days ago?
Well, yeah, in that argument, I think for sure that the supplemental discipline process has taken too long. Sometimes when suspensions are involved and then there is a challenge to the suspension, and then they have to go to independent representation, and that can drag out for months. I mean, Sean Lemon dragged out for months until they said, no, he's not allowed back in the league. For an example. But, in this case, I do know, and let me preface this by saying it's not Barney's fault. It's not my fault.
It's Bidsy's fault.
It's none of our faults. Okay. I just want to be clear that, I'm not at the league office going, this is what we should be doing. But there has been a mandate that has been reinforced this year to protect quarterbacks and to lean on the side of cautioning to protect them. And it started in supplemental discipline. So basically the standard on the field hasn't changed. The official will make an in-game decision when it comes to a roughing the passer call. That will go to the command center, and the standard for that really hasn't changed over the last 2 or 3 years, and they are leaning to the side of protecting quarterbacks. So if there's any doubt, they're going to say it was a penalty. However, what has changed is the process of supplemental discipline and not really changed, but has been reinforced that they are going to show very little to no tolerance to that. So they want to send a message that, a headbutt after the fact, a low shot, even if you're being blocked into them or being held into them or whatever, they are going to come down on it in supplemental discipline in that process. And there are many coaches, guys, across the league, and I won't name him at this point, but there are many coaches across the league that believe the penalty should be harder, stiffer. That it should almost be, if you hit a quarterback in the head, you're automatically thrown out of the game. Now, I know there's probably fans right now driving going, whoa, whoa, whoa. What, because sometimes that can be so incidental, and sometimes that could be such an accident just in the leverage of a player and the height of a player versus the quarterback and all of those things that factor into that decision. But there are some coaches in the league that believe it needs to be tougher so that we curve the behavior, so that players just stop taking the extra step, stop taking that extra role, stop, I'll put it to you this way. Back in the day, and I'm going way back now when the rules were completely different. But back in the day, if I would go on a safety blitz and I saw the back name tag of Matt Dunnigan or Doug Flutie, and I heard the whistle or I saw the ball leave his hand and I thought I could get away with one more step, I would hit him as hard as I possibly could. I mean, no one, and I don't think any D lineman, and certainly not Miles Brown, are trying to hurt anybody. Nobody is trying to do that. But if you think in a full-out physical football game that a player doesn't think if he can get away with one step or maybe 1.5 steps and still hit the quarterback and take that shot, and even if it means, you know what, I might get a bit of a fine, but heck, if I can give him the best shot and maybe he gets, misses the next throw or even that throw, then I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. And I think in order to curve that behavior, if I knew I would be suspended immediately, or if I knew that I'd be thrown out of that particular game immediately, there is no way I would have taken the extra step. No way. So I think really the mandate is correct by the league. Again, this is not an indictment on Miles Brown. Miles Brown is a good guy and a good player, and he's playing hard, and he's playing kind of the way it's going now. So in a lot of ways, guys, I agree with the league to make it more punitive, but that'll happen in off season. Make sure the coaches know and the defensive players know that if there's anything close, there will be zero tolerance when it comes to the process of supplemental discipline. They will look at it, and you'll probably get a fine. If you've hit them low or you've hit them high, not no matter what the circumstances, but let's put it this way, low or high, you're probably going to get hit in the paycheck.
Glenn, this happens in the NHL, but maybe it doesn't happen in the CFL. You mentioned back in the day. I know that in the NHL, if the team feels that somebody was suspended and they didn't agree with the call, they'll pass the hat. They'll help a buddy out. Do they do that in the CFL?
Yeah, I've seen it before for sure and heard of it, happen. I've heard sometimes there'd be a call-in show and fans would help. So I understand all that, and I think that is why there are some that are saying, you know what, maybe it should be an in-game disqualification, because no player, like I bet if you went and surveyed every player at this level and you said, hey, would you live with a fine, or what's worse, a fine and a hit to your paycheck, or getting taken out of the game and not be available to help your teammates, say, for a whole half of football or 3/4 of football? I bet you 99% of those guys would say, I don't want to get thrown out of the game because then I've let down my teammates. And that's where I think the behavior will start to change, and we won't see the extra 2 steps and a headbutt. Like that, anything that could be avoided is not being penalized enough. And then the gray area is the last Miles Brown shot. That's the gray area. And that's where I think there'll be some frustration in all of this.
I have an idea that will never take to the CFL. Yeah, here we go. Short yardage quarterbacks, different. It's a different game for you. Especially if you don't take out 1-step drop and you're in the washing machine or the mosh pit there and then things happen. Yeah. Unfortunate that. Because I feel it's like when you throw that screen pass out and you have the pulling guards go out, and things can happen there where a guy gets rolled up on all the time. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, he hit him low. He's like, no, he just rolled on him. It's an unfortunate incident. That's what I feel happens so much, especially on that short yardage, where the short yardage quarterback has a different set of rules. Hey, sorry, buckaroo. You're in there. There's going to be a little bit of extra, dangers when you go in there. It'll never happen, but that's just something that I've been mulling around in the head. Okay, the other question I have, we talked to Darian yesterday, Glenn, and he said that running back position, bringing a guy in late, whatever, it's probably one of the positions that you can just pull a guy off the street and just let him get in there. Here's your gap. Here's your holes, but whatever, run it. What's your take on the Riders bringing in Armstead from Ottawa, who was let go? Because right away my first thing is, well, why was he let go? What are we bringing in here? You see it in all sports. I'm curious on your take on that.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of fans wondering about that because of how he was released and why he was released in Ottawa. There was something that happened on the sideline. I don't know all the details of that, but apparently shortly after he was released. So there's some story behind it. I think there's sort of two schools of thought when it comes to bringing in a player with any kind of questionable background. And I don't think Rock Armstead has a questionable background. It's just this was one incident in Ottawa. And I'm not even sure if he qualifies as an incident, but it was an argument of some kind. I think there's players that have a history that runs deep. And to me, those are huge question mark players, even before training camp, let alone in the middle of the season. Those are real question mark players, guys that have had track records that go way back, like college and high school, and they were always this type of guy. And I've said this many, many times, but for those type of players, if it quacks like a duck and waddles like a duck, it's probably a duck. So, believe it when you see it. But Rock isn't in that category, I don't think. After I saw the release and I saw Saskatchewan sign him, I went and looked and tried to Google any type of background issues with him. I didn't see him. I'm sure the club and coach has done his due diligence in that regard. And so this was, he lost his temper. I'm sure they've had a discussion about it, and he's a great player. He's a player that can help, and I agree with Darian. With the running back position, you can sub him in, and all he needs to know is if they still call it the A gap and the B gap and where to run.
I was just going to say, Suit, so when something like that happens, a move like that happens, you were one of the leaders in the locker room. Does the GM maybe pull a couple of leaders aside and say, hey, guys, I'm thinking of bringing in this guy. I think he's going to be okay, but do you
pass
think it's
the hat around? Pass the boot
pass the boot around again. Hey, guys, let's get it started. Can we bring him in? We don't have enough money. Can we do that whole pass the hat thing again? It worked pretty good for the last time with the fine. No, but when you have a guy that I'm not saying that he's a worry to fracture the locker room, but when there is somebody that comes in like that, sometimes does the GM talk to some of the leaders and ask them, how do you feel about this? Do you think it's going to be a problem?
Yeah, it's happened. I mean, I remember it happening in Saskatchewan back in the day. We've brought that up a couple times now, but I'm not sure. Every locker room and every regime has its own set of sort of rules and boundaries there. I'm not sure where it is for Corey Mace, although just in my discussions with Corey, he would be to me the type of guy that would ask the leadership group if there was a history. Again, I don't think there's a history here. This was a one-off deal for Rock Armstead. I think, maybe he just got frustrated, lost his temper, and it was enough. And maybe there's some more that's happened in practice. But again, I'm sure that Corey Mace has looked into all of that and did before they signed him. And then he would have had a discussion with him for sure. And yeah, if you have strong leaders like Trevor Harris, I mean, why not just throw it by him and ask him what he thinks and what he has maybe heard about the player? That definitely can happen. And, I think good coaches do that. They lean on their veterans, sometimes to self-govern too. In other words, sometimes I'm going to stay out of the room. You guys take care of anything that comes up and take ownership of it. And, I think that's what Corey Mason's trying to build there.
Okay. I didn't get to this question last week, and I have to get to it. Kelly with Hawaii messaged in again, and I asked. I'm not exactly sure because I didn't watch the game. Please ask Mr. Suter, why wasn't Morgan of the Elks not fined? A couple of high hits. I don't remember. I don't even know if I was watching that game, but I'm asking for Kelly.
Okay, so they're talking about their linebacker, and I'm trying to remember the hits. And, I've heard this argument in a bigger picture. Look, to answer the question in sort of a bigger picture way, because I don't remember specifically those.
Sorry
hits,
to put you on the spot. Yeah, it's a
no,
tough one.
It's a good question because I think what we try to do sometimes is we'll look at, for instance, the Miles Brown last hit, and we'll say, well, what about the holding call? What about the fact that he was being tackled? What about the hit on our guy 4 weeks ago? All of those things probably have their own discussion and argument for. In other words, I could probably look at all of those plays that you go back to, a hit on Trevor Harris last year even or whatever, and say, well, let's look at it. Let's break it down. Let's look at the standard and let's decide whether or not they made a mistake there or not. I'm in on that discussion, but it's just too disjointed to say, well, they got our guy a while ago, so now this one should be okay. It's either you broke the rule or you didn't break the rule, or you've crossed the line in the standard or you haven't. And again, to get to a point where you're curving the behavior so we do protect quarterbacks, then you're going to have to become more punitive as it goes on, or else it'll continue.
If you're just tuning in and driving home today, we're with Glenn Suter. Dave Thomas off the start of the show. Rider practice got heated as Coach Mace tore the team a new one. Then took him off the field into the bowels, as they say, of Mosaic Stadium. Did his thing, talked to them, just not acceptable. The veterans came out and finished practice. Don't mind the move, personally. Bidsy, you and I have talked about it a lot. It's not like he's done it over and over where it falls on deaf ears. Also, I like the fact that they got 5 important weeks left here. So maybe it is send a message time, Glenn.
5 monster weeks. And with the division the way it is, anything is possible, really. I haven't broken down the everybody's schedule in the West, but when you look at the Rider schedule, 2 games against Calgary, a game against BC, a game against Edmonton.
And Ottawa.
Yeah, and then Ottawa in the middle. I mean, you've got a chance to win those 4-point games and possibly take first in the division. So, and definitely look at still a home playoff game. So, yeah, first of all, I think it is needed more, and not in a way of, again, not in a way of the same message being, you can't yell at a team game in and game out when they're losing. It just, they stop listening very quickly.
Yeah.
But at the right time, in the right moments, I think across the board in society, we're getting way too soft. There's not enough tough love in saying, listen, we're all in this together, but what we're doing right now at this level is not good enough. And we can talk about it, and we can say we're close, and we can say it's a field goal, or it was that reffing decision, or it was the command center, and you're just making up excuses until you all take ownership and you all decide that we're going to win, and we're going to or die trying. And I know that sounds weird, but I've said it before. At this level, in a game that is so physical, you almost have to. Well, I'll give you a real quick story. I'm sitting in a Wild game night. We had these back in the day with Bobby Jerson after a bad loss to the Edmonton Eskimos at the time. And it was a bad one. I'm talking like 38-3 or something. And I say to Bobby, you know, sometimes when I watch you play and I watch you in the locker room, I think you would die to win. I think if you were given a choice between winning and then you die the next day, or not winning and you go on living, you would pick A, win the game, and die the next day. And in a very straight face, he grabbed my shirt, pulled me closer to him, and said, "You better feel the same way." It was this moment of, yeah, like I'm actually talking to you about it, because I might not have the physical skills that you have, but I feel the same way. And I feel like if we keep building this, there's enough guys like that are just willing to put it all out there to win. And that led to about a year and a half later, a championship on a 9-9 team. So it wasn't that we just got more talented and won a ton more games. And I look at this team the same way. There is the talent there to win. And now the commitment's got to be there, and the pulling together so for Corey to get up and give it to him and say, go look in the mirror. I don't know what he said. I don't even want to paraphrase him, but to have a little edge to it and talk to them, you know, in that way, I think is great. Let's see how they respond.
I was just going to add, if Bobby Jurison grabbed me and said, "Yeah, you better feel the same way, 2 bids," the next day I'd have one of his bandanas on. His kamikaze
yes, you would have.
bandana on. Yeah, he scares me. Yeah, I better just meet him a few times.
I got to go clean my shorts. I'll be right back, Bobby. Okay, Glenn, let's break down the game on Thursday when we have you. Stamps and Riders a little closer. And, yeah, thanks for this great story, by the way.
Yeah, we did a lot of the old days, so it's not about us.
Colson's saying here he wants to pull a Bobby Jurison on Thursday and say, "You better shave, Glenn."
You got it. I know. I keep forgetting. I'll do it.
Colson will text you. Remind you.
Press anyway, coverage with Glenn Suter for Quality Tire, 9 locations across Saskatchewan. QualityTire.ca. It's the all-new Sportscage. If you're watching on the stream at sportscage.com, or as always on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
This is Country Gold with Steve Harmon, your home for the country hits of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Hello, I'm Steve Harmon, inviting you to join me for Country Gold. Each week we play country favorites from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and we check in with the stars who made them, too. This weekend on Country Gold.
Country Gold, brought to you by Trent Dickin and his experienced team at Flooring Superstore. Saturday mornings at 6 and Sunday afternoons at 4 on the Voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
When it comes to duct cleaning, call Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They'll clean out the dust and debris that builds up over the summer. When you need protection, they offer a monthly plan for homeowners to get regular service done on their AC and furnace, as well as plumbing. And when it comes to furnace servicing, it's never too early to get that done too. Bronco will service your furnace and have you ready to go before winter hits. Consider it today, so you can rest easy tomorrow. Learn more at broncoplumbing.com.
Some will try to tell you 8 inches is enough. Others will say 10 inches will do. But when you want a lot of pizza, you gotta hanker down with a delicious 13-inch pepperoni from Western Pizza. Why mess with a good thing? You know what you want. 13 inches of pepperoni pizza perfection from Western Pizza. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50-50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early bird prize. This week it's a Whistler ski vacation and you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
With the BF Goodrich Advantage TA Sport Tire, you'll get performance-inspired handling to put some life back into your daily drive, and with a 110,000-kilometer warranty, you'll do it for a long time. You may just wake up and say, I do want to add all today. Thrill your drive at Quality Tire with 9 locations across Saskatchewan.
110,000-kilometer limited tread life warranty applies to T-rated tires only. See bfgoodrichtires.ca for details.
QualityTire.ca. Easy to use, tough to beat. Kubota's compact tractors are perfect for fall and winter jobs with attachments to do it all year long. Right now, get financing as low as 0% on select models. See your Kubota dealer for details.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
Remember, Bidsy, Schenk, Colson, and Curtis here. We're giving away 2 golf passes now to Deer Valley today for the remainder of the show. 936-6262. Got a few texts in just asking people where they are listening to the Sports Cage from today. Let's go quickly to our clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. You can call 781-1077 and talk to the fine folks at Nick Service in Emerald Park. Going back to high school football, Bidsy.
Nice.
And we're going out to Moose Jaw. It was at Guthridge Field in Moose Jaw. Big win for the Moose Jaw squad. The Tornadoes improved to 1-1 with a 2-0 or 21-0 win over the Swift Current Colts. And we're giving our clutch performer to Owen Vargasy, quarterback for Moose Jaw, completing 12 of 26 passes, 290 yards in the air, just a single interception to go along with a pair of touchdowns through the air. So Owen Vargasy is our clutch performer.
Sounds like his completions were for some big yards. It sounds like he went for it.
Yeah. Nick Service in Emerald Park.
290. Yeah. And what about that name, that moniker? The Tornadoes. Love that.
The Tornadoes.
The Tornadoes. You can do a lot with that.
Yeah. Here are your...
Tornadoes!
We want people, don't forget, high school football, what's coming up this week. We want to hear from you people out in Gull Lake, Maple Creek, Shaunavon. Who else is playing this weekend? Davidson, Assiniboia, Lemberg. Let's go Lemberg. Maybe finishing up harvest out in the Lemberg area. Want to hear from you. Priestville, Hanley's playing. Yorkton, Indian Head, Broadview's playing. Lanigan, Southie, Ituna. Shout out Ituna. Balgony, Weyburn. So yeah, hi at sportscage.com. Let us know where the game to watch is this weekend. What's going on? What's going on? Is there lights? We're playing under the lights. What's the canteen situation like? We want to know everything. And we will relay it.
Situation.
We want to relay it to the Sports Cage listeners. Hi at sportscage.com. Hockey news. I know we got Rhett Warner coming up at around 5:30.
AKA Retro.
It's such a good interview. He is so funny.
Truly black and white guy.
We got some hockey news today. And unfortunately, these games are going to be played out east in London and Oshawa. If you're on the Sports Cage Twitter today, you saw this. The CHL going to be playing a 2-game rivalry series against the USA Hockey National Development Team Program. These are WHL, OHL, and Quebec Major Junior kids that are in their first year draft eligibility. So that's the age, and they're going up against the U.S. development program. And people are like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. The U.S. development program is in, was it in Ann Arbor? It's somewhere around, it's in Michigan, around the Detroit area. And it is a thing that they have churned out. That's why they keep winning World Juniors, or they're there now. The American hockey program is so good. So a lot of the kids at the program, the ages are this age. So now they're saying, all right, you want to boogie down? We'll throw down Canada, CHL. Us versus you, 2-game rivalry series. Again, it will be televised. But it's good. They're going to keep it out east because it's just travel-wise, it makes more sense before everyone starts freaking out and going, east gets everything. Yeah, just travel-wise, it's easier. Have you ever lately tried to fly out of Regina or Saskatoon?
It's hit and
where
miss,
have all
right?
the
You just
planes
never know.
gone?
Yeah. Exactly. Who took the planes? We had more of them before.
I just was talking to a guy from Air Canada, neighbor. Shout out Sean Namath, absolute beauty.
Could have some time on his hands.
I had no idea. We were having a pint. We were having a driveway pint at one of our other neighbors. He works for Air Canada. He tells me I had no idea.
It'd be fun to be your neighbor.
My neighbor?
Yeah, it'd be fun to be your neighbor, I think.
I'm always mooching stuff.
And
okay. I'm asking you to come over and help me.
Oh, okay. I was just talking about the driveway beverages, or you pop the garage and go over. And...
No, I always have beverages. That's not. I should have if I ever had an acreage, I'd be screwed because I wouldn't have anybody to come help me, and I just need help all the time with things. But he told me, and I had no idea that you can't get to Alberta on Air Canada now from Regina unless you go through Vancouver or Toronto.
Is that because of what's happening with the?
That's basically just think that we are an absolute pitch fest here or something. I don't know. They cut all Alberta flights, so they Regina to Calgary flight on Air Canada, gonzo. You can't get anywhere. You got to go to Vancouver. Wait in Vancouver.
Go to Calgary.
That airport is interesting at the best of times, and Toronto's is an absolute bloodbath.
It is. That one is that one's where you got to get psyched up when you get off the plane because you know it's going to turn into something. You got, here we go, play a little AC/DC, get fired up.
It is. Get your full back on. You're going to get all kinds and all kinds of smells and carts ramming you in the leg and everything. In the Toronto airport, you got it all. People sleeping in weird places.
Weird sleeping people.
I had no idea that was the case. So then that's why it makes sense, unless they're going to charter a plane. We're not going to see this game in Saskatchewan. It is going to be in Oshawa and London, but it's going to be a really good watch. Trying to think off the top of my head what Saskatchewan. Roger McQueen from Saskatoon plays for the Brandon Wheat Kings. It's his draft year. He's going to be an absolute weapon this year. He could be playing in that game. Off the top of my head, trying to think of some others, but that'll, So a little hockey news again. We got Rhett Warner coming up. More. We're going to talk. Hockey. You know, one question I asked him. It was a pre-recorded interview because Rhett's a busy guy back in Calgary. Talk about his kids. One question I asked him about the CHL being able to play NCAA. And he kind of goes and he's like, that's, it's awesome. Better hockey, more hockey, great. I asked him, a young Rhett Warner back in the day in Saskatoon playing for the Blades, if you had a chance to go play NCAA, where would you have gone?
Arizona.
Rhett liked his partying, and he still does. Rhett, and
he's social.
He's very social. He's such a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He would have had a lot of fun playing NCAA hockey. I'm not going to ruin it. It's a tease.
Oh, okay, yeah, you don't want to ruin it. Okay, yeah. I was just going to say, I don't think Rhett would have the grades. I'm pretty sure Rhett did this thing at Marion Graham's, where most of the guys from the Blades went to high school. And at the start of every class, the teacher would open up a folder. So all the cards would be in there. Derek Bidwell, Barney Shankrek, everybody in the and they would go through them all. And whoever wasn't there, they would take their card out and they would go out into the hallway, and they clip it on a thing, and then people go around and collect the cards, and that's how they decided who was absent, or they kept track of who was absent. Well, the Blades would go around and collect the cards, and they would get credit for a class for doing that. See, card collecting. There you go. Same amount of credits as algebra. Oh, okay, way to go. Yeah.
People out there in our demo totally remember the card collecting in high school, if you were there or not. I've totally forgot about that. The only reason I remember because in grade 9 I had a massive crush on the girl that collected homeroom cards.
Collected cards.
She was in grade 12.
Yeah, you'd see her come around and collecting them. I just wonder how that would work for Rhett. Like if he was, going to go to the NCAA and you'd submit his grades. Okay, algebra not so good. Card collecting, I was there every day. I got every card that I was supposed to.
I don't think card collecting is in the NCAA clearinghouse. I could be wrong. The last time I checked, it wasn't in there. Okay, yeah. So golf, we're getting some texts now. People from all over the province listening to the show. They want to go play couple rounds of golf at Deer Valley Golf Course. If you just want to win them for yourself and you want to go twice, go nuts. But we're giving you 2 with a cart. Deer Valley, beautiful in the Qu'Appelle Valley. And give them a plug. If you buy your membership for next year right now, you get to play the rest of the season free at Deer Valley. And the changing of the colors in the valley right now would be beautiful. We're going to talk to another beautiful place coming up in a bit. Brian Raymond from Flowing Springs.
Yes.
And it's President's Cup coming up, Bidsy. For all the golf fans.
Again? It's Bradley, isn't it? Keegan Bradley?
It's the Americans. This is the one where the Americans play everybody but Europe. So that's where the Canadians get to play in it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that more as it draws near. Don't forget Rider football Friday right here on the Voice of the Riders. The Croft Electric countdown to kickoff with Justin and Wes starts at 4:30. So abbreviated Sportscage on Friday. I'll be in the tavern by 5 o'clock. Perfect.
Say, wow, you get a full shift pay for that. That's a good deal.
Rider Nation pregame show with Dave Thomas and Luke Mullender goes at 6:30, and then the kickoff is at 7:30 on the Rider Radio Network. Of course, as always, you have your say in the postgame show. Oh, mama. If we don't pull that one out.
Don't even put it out in the universe. Just don't.
The Collins Show. That thing could go until Saturday at noon.
Yeah.
We're thinking positive, though.
Yeah, I think they're going to do it. They're going to go on a run.
Thinking positive. Hamilton. Ooh, text message here. The Hamilton quarterback. Yeah, that was from the Glenn Suter. I wanted to ask Morgan's from the Elks why he was not fine. The Hamilton quarterback was taken to the hospital. Sorry, Kelly, with the why. I didn't know which one you were talking about. Glenn tried to answer that question as well. Yeah, you just can't win them all. But the fining thing, okay, so I got into it with Glenn. The fining of football players, and then DA yesterday, who was on the show, he's like, are we just going to fine for penalties now? Because that's what that was. He kind of, if we're going to flag him, he rolled in. But Strevler is right there, the short yardage quarterback. We might have to make some exceptions to the rules. If you can't touch the guy that his primary job is to try and use his helmet to spear you and get a yard or jump over you or something.
Great point. And you talked about it as being a washing machine type of effect, right? When he does that, when you have a quarterback sneak, that's what it is. It's just a mosh pit, is another analogy that you used, which I think is great. When you decide that that's going to be the play, and you're going to be the short yardage guy, well, and it's kind of I don't know if necessarily different rules, but it's a different ball game. Like it's every man for himself, and it can't be very protective as much as they normally are when you're dropping back to pass and you're exposed.
You ever been in a mosh pit?
Yeah, I got a black eye once at a mosh pit.
Dumbest things ever.
Yeah.
Sorry, all you mosh pit hardos out there.
Oh, you hardos, mosh pit hardos.
I remember I was like, what are we doing? This isn't fun.
Yeah, you just want to start fighting people, and then people shove you from behind, you turn around, and then while you go to address that guy, then somebody else shoves you again, and it just...
I'm trying to think what concert it was at. Man, I was like, I came here to just listen to some music. I didn't want to lose my orbital bone.
Yeah, get a cracked hairline fracture in my orbital. Did you take it one step past the mosh into the surfing? Did you ever get up there and they pass you around?
I dove in when I was working rock radio once. I introduced, I think it was Biff Naked, and I jumped into the crowd. Luckily, they caught me. They didn't drop me. Yeah, but mosh pits, man, that's why I'm more country bar guy, sit in the corner. drink my
toe
sorrows
tapping.
away. Yeah,
I had a buddy one time that did the where they passed him. He went up and we picked him up, and then people started passing him, and they passed him. It was at a Watchman concert, and then they passed him, and then they passed him, and then all of a sudden they weren't passing him anymore. Down, Jason Selkirk is down. Somebody go get him. We have to go find him.
It was on the second floor. He fell. He's off. He's done. Okay, let's take a quick break. It's the all-new Sportscage on 620 CKRM, and you're watching the stream on sportscage.com.
You get home from work, and as soon as you open the door, you realize, oh, this place smells like shocking surprise. You've got sewer problems. Let's be honest, sewer problems literally stink. You need to call someone who will get your sewer situation all sorted out. You need the sewer experts at Bronco Plumbing and Heating. They're number one in the number two business. Bronco Plumbing and Heating, serving Regina, Moose Jaw, and the surrounding area. 306-781-2090. Give them a call. They'll treat you right.
This is Roy Rutledge at the Weyburn Livestock Exchange. Our next cattle sale here in Weyburn is Wednesday next week, September the 25th. This will be a regular sale of cows and cows and cow bulls. These cows and bulls are selling well. The fat market or finished market has peeled back in the United States, so of course that affects all butcher cattle. Even though it isn't as good as it once was, it is still pretty good and not likely to go up again this year. If you have butcher cows and bulls to market, this will be the sale to bring them to. Book them in now at 842-4574. Our fall flyer, fall schedule, should be in the mail this week. Watch for it. A lot of people look forward to it. Inevitably, someone gets missed every year. It's not intentional. All you have to do is call the Weyburn Livestock Exchange, and one will get mailed to you directly, 842-4574, or you can just check our website at WeyburnLivestock.com. More and more people are doing that. WeyburnLivestock.com.
It's back. Employee pricing at Capital GMC.
Do you have any idea what this means?
You pay what we pay.
Oh my.
We have 8 billion new and used vehicles.
No, we don't.
Well, we have lots of new and used vehicles, and they're all employee priced. If you need a vehicle, new or used, you pay what I pay.
Right now is the best time to buy.
It's employee pricing.
You pay what I pay.
Employee pricing at Capital GMC.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Friday is game day as the Riders take on the Calgary Stampeders. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk is at 4:30. Pre-game shows at 6:30. And kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 7:30. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Roughrider Radio Network is brought to you by Bayer Crop Science, Sask Cancer Agency, and McDougall Auctioneers. Stream every minute of Rider football at sportscage.com.
Pizza! Where's it from?
Kids, it's not delivery, it's...
No, it's definitely delivery. It's from Western Pizza. Mama's had a long day, so she ordered online, poured a glass of Happy, put her feet up, and waited for the doorbell. There's also Caesar salad, lasagna, chicken wings. Oh, I got lots, so we can have the leftovers tomorrow and the next day. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste, big on convenience. Get it delivered today.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you more money at Matt's Furniture. Want to level up your washer and dryer pair with Maytag? Get the Maytag top load washer and electric dryer set with wrinkle prevention for $1,598. Or get the larger Maytag washer and electric dryer set with quick dry cycle, just $24.98. Purchase either and get a free year supply of Swash detergent. See in store for details. Matt's Furniture in Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Thanks to everyone that's texted in trying to win those golf passes. We got people from all over texting in. So I want to say this guy, hey, Terry, get this one, Derek. Terry. It says he's from Scobe. Is Scobe a place, or is it Scobie? I know Scobie, Montana. Is Scobe a place? He goes, give everyone but the quarterback a leather helmet. Head injuries will go down. Eventually, watch rugby players hit. Terry from the Combine in Scobe. Leather helmets. That'd be rugby. You learn to hit different in rugby. You kind of like absorb the hit and then let them like fall over and you twist them to the side. If you're watching the stream, I look like an absolute buffoon trying to Imitate that.
You kind of look like a little bit of a Greco-Roman wrestler there.
But yeah, no, it's get everyone leather helmets. It is different. Mike says, I have a feeling the Riders are going to beat Calgary. I just have that feeling. I think you're right. Roscoe and Kindersley's watching on X. Attaboy, Roscoe. Shout out Kindersley. Go Clippers. I got to go to Kindersley this year with boys playing there a game. But I think it's an overnighter. It's a fun town.
They got a Burger King there now.
They got lots
Big news.
It's a borderline city. If it's not a city, it's not. Yeah, they got a Canadian Tire. They got a Walmart. A Burger King.
But they just built a Burger King. I drove by there like 3 weeks or through there 3 weeks ago, and I was like, hey, there's a big Burger King now.
What's your go-to? Whopper? Chicken sandwich? You're a fitness freak. You probably went like
I don't really go
salad.
to Burger King. Yeah. But if I did, I would have a Whopper, I think. No tomato.
Out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline that time of the week, we talk golf. We talk with Brian Raymond. Brian, here we go. We're into the short strokes of the golf season, but people must be still out there swinging it away. It's been a good week so far to golf.
Absolutely. The weather's been fantastic. And the forecast, for the next little while, we've got no frost in the forecast. Reasonable temperatures. It's going to be a little cooler probably than today. But and the courses. I mean, our course is in fantastic shape. I went out and played a couple of holes last night, and man, the course is really nice. But you know what? This is a public service message on behalf of all the golf courses. For the love of God, people, fix your ball marks.
Yes. What is with? I feel it's getting worse.
It is getting worse.
Is people having is there a back problem out there with people? They just can't bend over and fix the bloody. And like I teach my kid, I'm like, fix that. Go back and fix another one while you're at it.
Yeah.
But Brian, when we talk specials out there, I know you got the great specials. I'll let you run them down, but. It's that time of the year where people just, hey, I don't need the special. I just want to get out and play because I only got so many hours in the day here. I just want to get a few more rounds in.
Yeah, there's no question about the days are getting shorter, and that's why we moved our late day special up to 5 o'clock. So now after 5 o'clock, $22 to come out and walk the golf course. You can still get 9 holes in for sure. Maybe a couple more as well. Every Monday and every Wednesday, seniors and ladies all day, $37 to come out and play the golf course. And, of course, after 3 o'clock is our early twilight at $38. So money shouldn't be the reason for not coming out to play golf.
No, cheapest, like I say, it could be the cheapest golf course for what you get in Western Canada. And as always, if you want to go hit the balls, go out there because we got grass. We're not hitting off mats.
No, the driving range is huge. We can take 50 people up here on the driving range at a time, and there's not one mat in the site. I mean, it's all grass, and it's a huge driving range. Target greens, the whole works.
All right, Brian, let's talk to you again on Thursday.
You betcha.
You find them at Flowing Springs online, and as well, phone number, Colson, you always...
306-543-5050.
5050. It's the all-new Sportscage. Thanks if you're watching on the stream at sportscage.com or on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
Bidding is now open for the timed online land and farm equipment auction for Richard and Carol Arndt of Arcola, Saskatchewan. Register to bid at macauctioncompany.com. Up for auction, a quarter section of fertile land and a 1,700 square foot bungalow with numerous outbuildings just south of Arcola. Also selling a 2016 New Holland round baler, a 2013 MacDon 16-foot A-bine, shop and woodworking tools, plus much more. Bidding closes this Thursday, September 19th at 10 a.m.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50/50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early bird prize. This week it's a Whistler ski vacation and you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
APAS is there when you can't be. As farmers and ranchers, you need to fight increasing costs and regulation. But how are you supposed to be everywhere at once? You're busy with harvest, so you don't have time for meetings with politicians, presentations to committees, and tracking legislation that will affect your farm. This is where APAS comes in. Your APAS representative, the APAS Board of Directors, and the Canadian Federation of Agriculture all work together to represent you. APAS is there when you can't be. Visit apas.ca and become a member today.
Meet your new favorite shade of green. At Nick Service, we offer the Fendt 500 Vario Series tractor that's tailor-made for your farm. Get better stability, ease of use, and comfort with one tractor. Whether you're feeding, tilling, baling, or hauling, this series is built for your farm. Experience up to 163 horsepower with this multi-purpose tractor. Visit Nick's Service in Emerald Park or go to nickservice.com to get a quote on the Fendt 500 Vario Series.
Good evening. It's mostly cloudy and it's 27 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound in Fort Capel. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. And for Kevin's Marine, make the most of summer with a boat or pontoon from Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel. kevinsmarine.com. If you feel like we're already in the middle of a provincial election campaign, you may be surprised to know the campaign hasn't officially kicked off yet. We're in what's known as the pre-election or ramp-up to the provincial campaign. The election day was set in legislation by the Sask Party government in 2010, for the election must be held on the last Monday in October in the fourth year of a government's mandate. That is October 28th this year, but what we don't know is when the Premier will visit the Lieutenant Governor to call the election. Tom McIntosh is a professor in the Department of Politics and International Studies at the U of R, and he said the purpose behind a fixed election date was to keep a lid on pre-election advertising.
In fact, if you have a fixed election date, then as it rolls closer, even though the election hasn't been called, people start election.
As spelled out in legislation, the campaign is a minimum of 27 days and a maximum of 34 days. This year, we had more tornado activity in Saskatchewan compared to last year. Environment Canada meteorologist Terry Lang says that there were 17 tornadoes compared to just one last year. But Lang says not many people would have known that.
I don't think they would have thought it was an active year, because our average number of tornadoes are around 13, 14. So we were actually above average with respect to tornadoes, but they didn't seem to get a lot of press, maybe because they didn't go through any towns or anything like that.
She noted 2 tornadoes were considered an EF1 and the rest were EF0s. A chief economist at CIBC predicts Ottawa's changes to mortgage rules will help spur demand among potential homebuyers. Benjamin Tall is commenting on the federal government's changes set to come into force mid-December. They include a higher price cap for insured mortgages to allow more people to qualify for a mortgage with less than a 20% down payment, and expanding the 30-year mortgage amortization to include first-time homebuyers buying any type of home. But while Tall calls it a significant move, he adds there remains a lack of housing supply available to respond to Canada's rapidly increasing population, particularly in major cities. And former Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley is launching her own radio talk show next week on Sirius XM.
The last Republican opponent of Donald Trump, who was left standing in the GOP nomination fight, will interview guests, take calls, and talk policy, and maybe a little Clemson football on her show. She also hopes to take away some of the predictability that's present in partisan media. The former United Nations ambassador and South Carolina governor said her aides have begun talking to Trump's team in the past 2 weeks about making campaign appearances, but nothing has been set. I'm Haya Panjwani.
That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your sports is next.
With the success of the recent Apollo space flights, man has been brought another step closer to the moon. Aboard these flights, 3 astronauts, and with them, top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features.
Houston, we've got no problem at all. We're loving these smartphones that we got at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer's biggest role isn't in the space program. It's right here on Earth, in Fort Qu'Appelle, or online at echosound.ca.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Grandma Bentley.
Well, hello, Otto. Diesel, what are you and your dad doing today?
We just got our oil change at Moose Jaw Truck Shop.
Yeah, Mom. Thought maybe I could take your car in for you.
No, you can't. Not unless you take me with you. You know how much I love their cookies.
All month, oil changes are just $37.77 for cars, $67.77 for trucks and SUVs, and $117.77 for European and diesel. They'll see you soon at moosejawtruckshop.com.
It's 5:05, and I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather, brought to you by Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and for Matt's Furniture. Visit mattsfurniture.ca. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Steve Adamson.
An unsettled weather pattern here as we progress into the next few days due to a series of upper-level disturbances and frontal boundaries that'll be crossing the area. Tonight we'll see the chance of some showers and thunderstorms around, otherwise partly to mostly cloudy. 60% risk for showers and thunderstorms, the low temperature near 17. Wednesday, a continued chance for some showers and thunderstorms, otherwise some sun in and out from cloudiness, breezy, the high near 24, 50% chance for showers and thundershowers. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy skies with showers possible, a 50% risk, the low near 11. Thursday, mostly cloudy skies with showers at times. The high near 18, 60% chance of showers. It'll be breezy. And as we head into Friday, a mixture of sun and clouds. The high near 20. Saturday looks to turn cloudy and cool with a chance for showers. The high near 14. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Steve Adamson.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is 21, Swift Current 24, Assiniboia 23, Yorkton Melville 27, Moosomin Broadview 26, Estevan 27, and Weyburn is 25. At this hour in Moose Jaw, there's a light rain shower. Winds are from the east at 17, and it's 25 degrees. Regina is mostly cloudy. Winds are from the southeast at 26, and it's 27 degrees. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you more money at Matt's Furniture. Want to level up your washer and dryer pair with Maytag? Get the Maytag top load washer and electric dryer set with wrinkle prevention for $1,598. Or get the larger Maytag washer and electric dryer set with quick dry cycle, just $24.98. Purchase either and get a free year supply of Swash detergent. See in store for details. Matt's Furniture in Fort Qu'Appelle, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936. 6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It's fitting on Tuesday when it's for Saskatchewan Lotteries. And like I said at the start of the show, I made a bunch of contributions to sport, culture, and recreation in the province on the weekend with my NFL bets. But we'll get to that in a bit with Arash. We're getting texts, like I said, Bidsy, from all over the province. People trying to, they're just telling us where they're listening from, but also trying to win those 2 golf passes to Deer Valley with a cart. 936-6262, the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer, capitalfordlincoln.com. That's all we got to do. Just send in where are you listening from. I know there's some weather in the area, Colson. You're saying looks like we're getting some lightning in and around Regina. If you're out harvesting, hopefully everything's safe, almost done and wrapped up. I know we got a couple in that Yorkton area. People are wrapping up harvest there as well. But it is time, like I said, it's we will talk gambling. Let's go talk to Arash.
The all-new Sports Cage and Coast to Coast with Arash Madani is brought to you by Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Golly at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
So, Arash, you probably didn't hear this yet, but Dave Thomas was on earlier in the show. You're shaking your head at me. I don't know why.
I'm shaking my head at you because, well, Bidsy, let's just go back a month, okay? I get an invite from the host of your show. Why don't you come down to Minneapolis? Your Vikings are playing the Texans week 3. It's going to be a great trip. Vikes win a big one on Sunday against San Francisco. I get a text from Barney, and I said, I'm in for Sunday. And he's like, yeah, can't swing it for you, bud. Sorry.
I don't remember. We have to pull the tape on that one. I don't remember verbatim if that's how it went down. But you are wearing a purple sport coat. Anyone out there watching at sportscage.com. Before we get into your Vikings, today at Rider practice, Arash, and then my question to you is, when's the last time, because you've been around a lot of sporting teams, football teams, where you've seen this, Coach Mace absolutely ripped him a new one. Took them all inside, took them off the field, ripped them again underneath. Coaches left, players came out, finished practice on their own. Message sent, hopefully.
Yeah, and obviously we don't know what Corey said, but I would think it's you bleep and bleeps. Better bleep and figure this out yourselves.
Yes.
Because at some point, it's the guys on the field, it's the dudes who strap it on who have to start finding some solutions themselves. And again, none of us will know exactly what was said in that meeting, but that's the gist of it at this stage of the season. Like, we're in the dog days, the Labor Day and Banjo Bowl hoopla is over, guys are beat up, riders, look, I mean, the standings are over your right shoulder there, Barney. I mean, it's everybody knows where they sit. And Edmonton's coming. Guys, if you want this to be an enjoyable couple of months, you guys better live up to your end of the bargain right now. And I understand that message from Mace. I really do.
Grey Cup scenarios from where we were in June, July, to where we are mid-September into late September has shifted 180. If there's anything more that can go right, like, what do we? Who knows?
Yeah, like, football seasons are nuts. Like, of course it's a week-to-week league. We know that, both sides of the border. But like a month ago, Edmonton fires its head coach and general manager. They couldn't win a game to save their life, even with good quarterback play. Nobody's in the stadium. It feels like it's hopeless. Nothing's going right. In Hamilton, they benched their starting quarterback, don't forget. They fired their special teams coach. They fired their defensive coordinator. They couldn't buy a win to save their life. And now the two hottest teams in the Canadian Football League are not only the Elks and the Tiger Cats, but the guy who was fired by the Elks has now taken over the defense in Steeltown and been a huge part of the renaissance and revival of Hamilton's playoff hopes. Just the way we all drew it up, right?
It's wild. It's awesome. It's entertaining.
It's nuts.
It hurts the head.
Right. Pro sports. Pro football.
Go ahead, Bidsy. Sorry.
Arash, you and I spent some time together in Cowtown way back when we were there, probably covering the Flames. I can't remember it. Flames or Stamps. Anyway, there's a rumor going around that maybe the Stamps are... The word mutiny came up, possibly maybe just Dave's messages falling on deaf ears. Your thoughts on what's going on there in Cowtown and maybe some of the rumors?
Well, I would say this, that even going back pre-pandemic, going back 2019, maybe even 2018, the Stampeders have been nothing but a reputation team. Everybody gave Calgary the benefit of the doubt because of what they had, past tense, accomplished. What have the Stampeders done in the last 5 or 6 football seasons that gives you any kind of suggestion, hint, hope that they know what they're doing? They held on to Bo too long. They don't have a quarterback. Their Canadian depth is non-existent. It's not a good football team. It's not a good coach football team. It hasn't been a good coach football team in a long time. So, Bidsy, I can understand that, the message hasn't gotten stale. The message has been stale for a long time.
I heard they run a real nice tailgate, though. That's the one thing they've done.
For Rider games, they do.
For Rider games in the last 5 or 6 years. So props, shout out Calgary tailgate. Let's shift it to the NFL, Arash. Okay, let's start with your Minnesota Vikings. It's one of the teams that killed me on my parlay.
Yeah.
Didn't see it coming. Sam Darnold, how fast did you get a jersey?
Whoa. Please, first of all, Sam Darnold MVP. You can say it. It's okay. It's fine. Slinging Sammy. Come on.
Holy Toledo.
Jokes aside, Jimmy Johnson always said to win in the NFL, it's not about making plays. It's about making sure you don't make bad plays. What Sam Darnold has done, 2 games, small sample size, only 8 quarters, is that outside of a bad decision on a pass that Fred Warner picked off, is that he's not turning the football over. And then you look around the league and you're saying to yourself, okay, what are the teams having success? Like the Vikes, under Kevin O'Connell, they are 19-0 when they haven't lost the turnover battle. Like, that's wild. So, Belichick's line always is ball security is job security. And that's why the teams that are winning have job security and ball security.
I don't think there'd be a lot of Carolina Panther fans listening, so if we offend you,
go ahead.
Sorry.
I think you're fine.
Is Bryce Young the worst first overall pick in NFL history, or right up there?
He can't be, because Jamarcus Russell will own that forever.
Yeah.
This is what I will say. This is what I will say about that. The Carolina Panthers might have the worst owner in the history of the National Football League. Oof. David Tepper is toxic. David Tepper was the one who made that pick, not the general manager, not 2 head coaches ago. Guys, I actually believe this, that the Carolina Panthers should have to be relegated. Like, this has got to go back to like English Premiership or Spanish soccer. Like, relegate them to the Prairie Senior Flag Football League and let's go. Andy Dalton, Adam Thielen, let's go. They're hopeless, they're awful, and there's no way out for them.
Maybe we can put them in that. We can put them in that Texas league we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Get them down there. Okay, so after 2 weeks here, who would be the front runner? You can't say Sam Darnold as the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
All right, well, let's go around the table. We did this a couple of weeks ago. When I say to you, who's had the best start to the season? KC's 2-0, and Seattle's 2-0, and the Chargers are 2-0. Like, who? When you think of who's been the best team, who's been the best quarterback?
I'm not going to go best. I'll go most surprising with where we thought they were. Is, I would say for me, Derek Carr and the Saints.
Sure.
They put up a decent amount of points.
Yeah, busy.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Yeah, New Orleans Saints. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. It's just crazy the amount of points they're putting up. They were even talking about their offensive coordinator during the Monday Nighter yesterday. 45.5 points, their average in the first two. I never saw it coming.
You know the team that I actually feel like no one is talking about them, and it's surprising considering where they've been the last few years.
Texans?
And the quarterback talent is Buffalo. The Bills were down 17-0 to Arizona, and Josh Allen put on a show, scored 4 touchdowns in that game. They then come out and kick the snot out of Miami, and very quietly are 2-0, and very quietly have overcome the loss of Matt Milano at linebacker and a bunch of their defensive backs this offseason. I just look at the explosiveness from Buffalo. Like, I get the Saints thing. I understand where you're coming from on the Saints thing. I don't get it. Like, Derek Carr completed 11 passes on Sunday, and they put up 40-plus points.
Yeah.
But it's I just think Buffalo's been a little sneaky.
What like when you look, because I'm just looking at this weekend's games or this week's games right off the hop. I'm as a Patriots fan who put all my Patriots gear in a box, and I'm like, I'll see you in about 4 years. Starting to slowly pull out the odd shirt, the odd jerseys. Planned a trip to Arizona in December. They play the Jets on Thursday. I'm curious to see this, just because, the Jets, and they are a 6.5 point favorite. But Houston in Mini, the game that the Sportscage is sending an iron lung full of people with Engelheim charters to, this game has turned into like what could be one of the games of the week.
Games of the week. If this game was being played 6 weeks from now, it'd be flexed to Sunday night.
Yes.
Here's the thing that CJ Stroud has done now. Like you mentioned, Bryce Young. Guys, CJ Stroud has ruined every first-round rookie quarterback from now till forever. Because now the expectation is you got to be CJ Stroud. You got to come in right away, pick up the offense, deliver, perform, get into the playoffs, win a postseason game. And none of them are there. Caleb Williams threw for under 100 yards in week 1. He looked lost on Sunday night going head-to-head against Stroud. It's such a tough bar. What Stroud has done is just unreal.
So that bar is so high. I guess that makes us have to appreciate what he's done even more when you step back and you compare it to the other drafts and what those quarterbacks did or weren't able to do when they were made starters right off the hop, and what he has done and how he's turned that franchise around.
Yeah. And I don't know who's even close to number 2 kind of right away. Like, remember, Peyton Manning, when he came in as the number 1 overall pick, set the record for most interceptions in a season.
I actually think another Colts quarterback, Andrew Luck, I think, did some things right off the hop, if I recall.
He may have set the world on fire. And think about how long ago that was. So it's a tough bar, but now they're using first-round picks on quarterbacks like they're lottery tickets, just hoping that somebody's going to hit.
Yeah.
Who's, for you, Arash, who's the biggest surprise at 0-2? Is it the Baltimore Ravens?
Kind of. Their entire defensive coaching staff is gone from last year. That's suboptimal. Mike McDonald's now the head coach in Seattle. He brought a bunch of guys with him, etc. The one that surprises me even more, guys, is Cincinnati. I get Jamar Chase missed a lot of camp. I get T. Higgins has been hurt. No, that's a bad loss to New England.
Awful.
They had chances against KC. I would say the most. I mean, look, it almost feels like you're not allowed to say this about Kansas City, but it feels like they're the most overrated 2-0 team right now.
I totally get sorry out there, Chiefs fans. I know, hey, I had to go through it for all, and then now the baton has been passed where everyone's going to hate you for a long time because it was the Patriots and now it's the Chiefs and everyone hates the Chiefs. Yeah. But they're doing the Patriot things. It's like they're in these tight games at the end, and then you're like, yes, they're not going to win. Travis, stop showing Taylor Swift. Travis, and then they win. And that's how it was for the Patriots. It was like, yeah, Brady and Belichick, they're finally going to lose this game. No, never mind. They won again. Right, Arash? It's like baton passed. Same thing. Wash, rinse, repeat.
And guess what? Everyone hated the Patriots except for Patriots fans. Yeah. And very quickly, Kansas City went from the likable team to the unlikable team. And I was trying to figure out why this was, and the simplest way I can describe it, I don't know where you guys stand on this, they went from blue collar to red carpet real damn fast. Yeah. And I think they lost a lot of their fan base. Well, a lot of the people who kind of rooted for them and were backing them because of it.
I think the Taylor Swift thing plays into it huge, and I get it. She's huge.
And getting every call and getting every whistle go their way and every flag go their way.
Very Patriot-ish, because I remember being on that side. I'm like, yes, I knew we were going to get that call. Yee. What about the Los Angeles Rams at 0-2, and they look like garbage, and it doesn't look like they're going to get out of that dumpster.
So if I told you there's a team without a left tackle, without a right tackle, without a number one receiver, without a number two receiver, and without a running back, what is their offense? And that's where they find themselves, to say nothing of they lost their all-world defensive tackle and their starting linebacker. On offense because of injury, on defense because of retirement and a trade. I think the Rams season is over, fellas. And I thought they were going to be the team that was going to contend to win the NFC this year, to be honest with you.
Are we gonna see a coaching change in Philly? Like, should Philly fans be prepared for this?
So, since the beginning of last year, the Eagles 4 times have led with 2 minutes or less left in the game, and they've lost all 4.
I'll just say something about that Monday Nighter. Like, it was super entertaining. I had my gal on the edge watching it, and she doesn't. Well, she's okay with football, but she just couldn't believe it. Are they going to come back and win? Is there a chance they could win? They have no timeouts left. She understood the whole thing. Announcers did a great job explaining everything in the scenario that they were in. But, man, it was exciting. The defense looked like they gave it up. You could say that. Eagles.
You got to bring pressure.
Man, you got to give Kirk
You got to bring pressure is right.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is absolutely garbage in the pocket when he's off schedule, when the pocket breaks down. If you let him sit back there, he'll throw the ball around, but he can't dance around. He's coming off a torn Achilles. He's got a 6-inch gash above the back of his leg. This is a guy who can't improvise. This is a guy who can't move around. I'll tell you that's PTSD, Bidsy, from a guy who had 6 years of dealing with that garbage, from the quarterback position with Cousins.
I get it.
It was like I have less of an issue throwing the ball to Saquon on 3rd down than I do with how they handle that on defense at the end of the game. They brought no pressure at all.
And everybody's saying, well, Saquon. I'm just going to finish my point with Kirk Cousins. I understand he's not scrambling. You got to bring pressure. The defense should have done that. But with the opportunity he was given, he threw darts and he got them down the field, and he deserves a big credit for that. But I will say that, man, like, why wouldn't they come after him? It as you said, it shocked me that the way that the defense approached that last run there. And everybody's saying, well, Saquon dropped it and it's Saquon's fault. He dropped the ball, literally, figuratively. But the defense let them march down the field in a minute, 70 yards with no timeouts.
But the defense didn't. It was the defensive play calling.
Yeah.
Right? Like they were told, go too deep, safety, give them space, don't get beat deep. So instead, it's 20, 30, 25 yards at a time.
And they just, to that point, Cousins and the offensive play calling was perfect against what they had set up there. Mm-hmm. It's like run the deep zone, cut it off before that, boom, completion. Right underneath, not there, completion. It was a thing of beauty. Kate Colson's telling us we're up against the clock. Arash, I can't wait for Thursday because I'm going to explain to you how I'm going to lose a bunch of money again gambling starting Thursday night, and then we can go from there. I want to see some sort of Sam Darnold gear on, though, Thursday when we talk to you.
Ooh. I'll see what I can do in 48 hours.
Go spend some bucks.
Yeah. Coast to coast with Arash Madani for Brian Golly. It's always a blast there. Time to take a quick break, Bidsy. We got to pay some bills, as they say. Colson's saying we're running a little bit late. You're watching us on sportscage.com, and as always, you're listening to us on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sportscage is brought to you by Busy Bee Doors. Busy Bee will repair or replace your residential or commercial garage doors so you don't get stuck in or out. Catch the buzz. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Sunday mornings, we're giving you control. It's the 620 CKRM Request and Dedication Show with Ray Allen. Sunday mornings from 10 till noon, 2 hours set aside for you to pick what we play. From the latest to the greatest, it's all in your hands. It's all brought to you by Matt's Furniture. Online at mattsfurniture.ca. True Fit Denture Clinic. No one should know you wear dentures, not even you. The Sunday morning Request and Dedication Show on the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50-50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early bird prize. This week it's a Whistler ski vacation and you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
Hun, I'm starving. What do we have to eat?
Avoid the annoyed.
Western pizza. I really don't feel like cooking today.
Avoid the annoyed.
Western pizza.
I want lasagna.
I was thinking Caesar salad and garlic bread.
I had my heart set on chicken wings. Avoid the annoyed.
Western pizza.
Avoid the annoyed with Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
Western pizza.
Down here at Heartland Livestock Moose Show, we're still selling cows and bulls every Thursday. As we get ready for the fall run, these cow prices continue to look very promising. Our first Char Sim pre-sorted sale is September 24th, and the first Red and Black Angus pre-sorted sale is October 1st. These sales always seem to fill up fast, so make sure you don't miss out on the bookings. Make sure to check out our Facebook page and website for any updates. Don't be afraid to give us a call at 692-2385. Get top dollar for your cattle and get them sold at Heartland Livestock Moose Jaw.
Watrous Mainline GM's Harvest Savings are on now. Save up to $15,000 on new 2024 Chevy and GMC half-tons with financing of 0% for 72 months available. Huge selection of on-ground Yukon XLs, and Tahoes. In search of a 1-ton diesel cab and chassis? Watrous Mainline has one ready to go. Watrous Mainline Motors is worth the drive every time, and they're wishing all farmers a safe and bountiful harvest. Watrous Mainline GM, your small-town family-owned dealership since 1962.
Let's roll. Don't miss a minute of the all-new Sports Cage. Podcasts are posted at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
It's really fun to talk to Arash. Just especially when it comes to making me feel really dumb about my NFL picks.
Yeah. You know, the thing is with Arash, so he's got a weird conversation cadence. Takes a little while to get used to talking with him back and forth and having the banter, because sometimes he'll have a pause and then he'll say, well, but that's the way it is, guys.
Yeah, he's long pause. He's long pause guy.
Yeah, and then you go, okay, but this is what else I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were done. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
I think I used to have a teacher like that he would like talk, and then there was a long pause, and then does he want us to chime in here?
Now?
Does he want? Okay, and then you start talking.
When do we chime?
I'm not. Quit interrupting me. Oh, man, you took a pause for like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
How's this supposed to read? People are driving home right now. if you missed it, Rider practice heated today. Coaches versus players. No, not fights. But Coach Mace was really mad. And he tore the team a new one. He took them off the field. Not only took them off the field, took them like underneath the stadium, read it, the riot act again. And then the players came out bidsy and finished it. Finished practice, which that's leadership. I get it. But, yeah.
I'm glad they're doing this on Tuesday, not having a lazy, lackadaisical practice on, Wednesday or obviously Thursday or run through. But, yeah, get it out of the way and get reset. Holy cow, guys. This is extremely important here.
And that's why I like it right now, today, before this big week. Dave Thomas, of course, talked to him and just asked him about the emotions of the day.
We talk about the standard that we want in this facility, and I just felt we didn't meet it really since the beginning of the day, and it kind of trickled into practice, and we had to address that. So, I thought we had a great day yesterday. We're always looking to be better each day. I thought we kind of failed at that today, so it was just a message that we got to come to work. We got a lot to play for. We got to prove it each day, though.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Proving it. And everybody needs you to prove it now, guys. He did also mention what he mentioned that they weren't up to standard, and then Dave asked him what standard is that.
There's a lot of stuff, man. Just how we want to execute certain things, and just we know what it's supposed to look like. It kind of didn't look like that today. Even stuff that we carried over from yesterday, we just didn't meet our expectation, and that's something I think is my job to hold everybody to that expectation. And when we don't, we just need a subtle reminder. So I'm looking forward to seeing what tomorrow looks like for these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Probably wasn't that subtle, though. Maybe it was. Who knows what was said? Maybe it was just
That's what Colson and Curtis are talking about here, too.
Yeah, I have a hunch it was a little bit more of a, holy cow, let me get this off my chest and blast you guys a little bit. Do you know how important this is? Do you know where we are in the season? Do you know how much is at stake? You can't afford to give up another one. We can't lay an egg against Calgary. This could be the season. Obviously, every game is hugely important.
Am I being subtle enough? Vein popping out,
Vein,
just angry.
Pop, garbage can across the room. Something across the room.
And then he talked about it, see what tomorrow brings, or however it, not verbatim there, but I think everybody's curious on how tomorrow's practice will shake down. I'm sure Dave Thomas will have all that covered tomorrow as well. Make sure you go to sportscage.com. You can read the story that Dave has about the new running back that's in camp. Also, if you missed it, here's an old-fashioned tease. You can read the story on the Riders brought in another quarterback into camp with 5 weeks remaining. Michael Hires. So you can go and read that at Sportscage. Is
not
it
Stanford.
Stanford guy?
Not Stanford.
No,
Samford.
Samford. The only thing I know Samford for is obviously Samford and Sons.
I was gonna say, that's all I got.
Where's Samford University? Colson,
actually,
come on.
But he had a lot of success there. We'll get Colson on this. He can do a quick Google search.
Alabama.
While he's looking it up.
Birmingham, Alabama.
There you go. Birmingham.
What's their team name? Can I guess? Can I play the guess name with them?
You can with the college, I think.
Samford
Brigade.
Fighting Armadillos.
Samford Bulldogs.
Boring.
Bulldogs. Yeah, the Fighting Bulldogs, probably. There's probably a Fighting Armadillos, though, actually. Before we move on in the show, I just did a little tidbit here, and I think this will be a little bit of a tease with what's coming up here. I know Rhett Warner is waiting on deck, and that interview is anyway. Rhett Warner and Corey Mace are actually good buddies.
He's going to watch the game. He talks about it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I knew they were texting each other. There's a group of us who were going back and forth or whatever, and they were like, Rhett's texting Corey Mace right now, talking to him about the game or something. And I was like, I didn't know that they were good buddies. Obviously, from their time in Calgary, but two beauties.
We got a little. We got this Rhett Warner interview coming up. Going to have it momentarily. Thanks for watching at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
With the BF Goodrich Advantage TA Sport Tire, you'll get performance-inspired handling to put some life back into your daily drive, and with a 110,000-kilometer warranty, you'll do it for a long time. You may just wake up and say, I do want to add all today. Thrill your drive at Quality Tire with 9 locations across Saskatchewan.
110,000-kilometer limited tread life warranty applies to T-rated tires only. See bfgoodrichtires.ca for details.
QualityTire.ca. Don't miss your chance to save up to 50% on a hot tub or swim spa at the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at Banner Hall in the Real District. Browse a massive display of hot tubs and swim spas from 5 major brands at up to 50% off. See swim spas in action offering exercise, fun, and therapy all year long. Every floor model hot tub must go. Financing is available and show admission is free. That's the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at Banner Hall in the Real District in Regina. Visit spashow.ca. That's spashow.ca.
Bidding is now open for the timed online land and farm equipment auction for Richard and Carol Arndt of Arcola, Saskatchewan. Register to bid at macauctioncompany.com. Up for auction, a quarter section of fertile land and a 1,700 square foot bungalow with numerous outbuildings just south of Arcola. Also selling a 2016 New Holland round baler, a 2013 MacDon 16-foot haybine, shop and woodworking tools, plus much more. Bidding closes this Thursday, September 19th at 10 a.m.
The end of summer all-weather windows and door sale is on now at Freeze Tallman. This is your opportunity to get 15% off select all-weather windows and doors. It's time for an upgrade that will save you money on all your heating bills this fall and winter. All-weather windows and doors offer energy efficiency and lasting value. Freeze Tallman will even come out and measure windows for you. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel.
Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
From road reports to community events, call or text us 306-936-6262. Driven by Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. CapitalFordLincoln.com on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Few minutes to get in on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line if you're trying to win those golf passes to Deer Valley. 2 passes, 936-6262. Pretty simple today. Just want to know where you're listening to the Sports Cage or watching the Sports Cage from Derek Bidwell. We are, tomorrow it's Chris Mazurek and Dave Thomas hosting the show. So if you're tuning in on that, of course, sportscage.com. And on 620 CKRM. They're going to have a new poll question.
They're going to have fun, but not as much as we did.
No one has as much fun as us.
Yeah.
They're going to have a new poll question, though.
Yes.
And I kind of know what it's going to be. People are going to want to really go to that and bang away and click. And I'm curious to get people's take in that sportscage.com. But like I said, we're going to be up against the clock here. This was pre-recorded earlier today because he's a busy guy. And off the start of the interview, he talks about why he's so busy, which I absolutely love and I can relate to. So Derek's buddy, I did the interview. Derek, thanks so much. Fun show. Colson, thanks. Curtis, thanks.
Got it, pal.
Let's go right now and hear from Rhett Warner. It's Rhett Warner joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Rhett, you're back in Canada. You're getting ready for hockey season, I'm sure. What do we got? Do we got any kids that are playing hockey?
Oh, yeah. 3 boys, and they're all busy in hockey, and Canadian tryout system is mind-numbing. I got to be honest.
Okay, well that's great because my kids are just going through it right now. Give us the pros and cons of having the tryouts down in the States.
Well, one of the pros of the American style is that you only play year of birth, so you're not combining years. I like that. Most of the programs operate with the tryout in the spring. I get there's pros and cons to it, but as a parent, I want it dealt with and organized. So my approach is not maybe always the best for the kid that really develops over the summer. it's about my organization and ability to do stuff. So it's nice knowing your schedule and team for the whole summer, as opposed to spending your the second half of August and September trying to get in shape for tryouts.
That's good. What ages are we dealing with at tryouts right now in Calgary?
You 13, 15, and I got one kid playing at one of those academies this year. So.
Oh, wow, yes.
A fancy guy.
Busy stuff. Okay, well, there's another good hockey question that people out there are going to want to hear former NHLer talk about. What's your take on the academy system?
My general take on it would be that I don't like it, and I don't mean it in an ignorant way. My fear for the game of hockey is the cost to play is so astronomical. It's becoming a bit of an elite thing, and I really don't like that. A lot of the people that we've idolized and put into the Hockey Hall of Fame were part of the game because there was ice in small town Saskatchewan, and they were able to use it.
Yeah.
And they went out there and turned into something, and the cost for the facilities, and again, I don't begrudge anyone anything. I think the academies offer a lot for what the players are looking for. I just mean, in general, I find it a bit saddening that not everyone is given the same opportunity.
Yeah, that is a fantastic point, Rhett. Okay, here's one more on that, because it was a bit of a debate on the show a couple weeks ago. At what age would you think, seeing a lot of hockey in your day and now your kids going through it, at what age do you think parents should maybe, if they're going to, start look at the academy system?
Oof. Again, we were in Buffalo for the last 2 winters, so my take on things might not be up to date. I really like the American system because you can play year of birth. And I think when you can do that, the academies become a little less attractive. Mm-hmm. Now, I wouldn't probably consider, my kid's 15 and he's gone, and I don't like it as a parent, but I go back and forth. This is a long-winded answer, but I go back and forth because I think there's a lot of helicopter parenting, and I don't think that it helps the kids out, us trying to control every movement that they have. So there's a benefit to these kids going away and playing at some of these academies, but there's also, they can be too young and trouble can be found. So I would think that 15 is kind of the earliest I would consider it.
Yeah, okay. No, that's a good point. Okay, I got to get your take on the big news that actually broke kind of out of Regina here, with Braxton Whitehead of the Regina Pats getting a verbal commitment to ASU. You're a former Western Hockey League guy, a lot of years with the Saskatoon Blades. What do you think, and now with kids in it, of kids being able to dabble and play a little CHL, but then still having the option to go play NCAA after?
Well, off the top of my head, I'm not against any of it, because I just think that the more hockey the kids get to play, the better. The problem I have is I don't see how it plays out. Like, somebody's going to benefit, somebody's going to lose out. I think it's coming no matter what, but it seems so foreign in my brain that they'll be able to. Now, again, I'm glad they'd be able to, as long as none of the programs are hurt by it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just a soft spot. I think that the WHL and the CHL do a fine job of developing players. Does everyone get to where they want to go? No. Should they be done at the age of 20 and kind of feel like they've had their shot at it? I don't think so. The American kids don't feel that way. They go to college and they can play till they're 24, and they come out of college and they've grown and they've been given that opportunity to continue and have another shot at it. So I'm okay with the ability to go play junior and then go play college, as long as they can figure out how to keep the programs maximized, right? Like, I don't want to see, like, down in the States, all these with the portal system, you got kids running all over the place, hundreds of kids every spring changing schools. Yeah. Is it good? Probably for some of them that haven't been playing or that have been stuck behind a coach that doesn't like them or a team that's too good, they could go somewhere else. But on the other hand, everyone's looking for the greener grass, and sometimes it's just not there.
And you know what it's like, Rhett, when you were growing up. I was the attitude kid, right? I had the poor attitude. It seems as though that these kids now, if a coach looks at them the wrong way when it comes to NCAA, they're going to be able to just say, well, that's it. I'm out of here.
Yeah. So, again, I'm a parent now, so I see things differently. I think I agree with you 100% that we just skirt things and we run from them, but it's the parents' problem.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the kids' problem. I think there's kids that have attitude and this and that, but a lot of it comes from what's being said on the car ride home, right? Like if mom and dad are in the car saying, well, and the kid got benched, well, why'd you get benched? Well, I didn't change. Okay, well, is that the coach's fault or the kid's fault? Because I guarantee you every coach in Canada or in North America is telling the kids 30-second minute shifts, that's it, change. Well, if the kid's not listening, the parents should take the coach's side.
Yes.
Not the kid's side. But what happens in today's world is that we defend our children to the death, to the nth degree, over any slight at all.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. And I don't think the kids come to that conclusion by themselves. I think it's supported by us as parents.
That is
in a bad way.
That is such a good point that parents should listen to, not only for sport, but also for education. A lot of time the teacher knows best, and it's good to get the teachers back as a parent as well, instead of the teacher always being the bad person. So that's a really good point, Rhett. Okay, here's a fun one. Let's go back in the day when you were with the Blades, and I know there was your allowance or whatever you guys were getting went to the Pat and places like that when you guys had off days. What NCAA college would Rhett Warner have loved to go to after the Saskatoon Blades?
Oh, man, college was. I needed to get through high school. I had to go to Marion Graham first. I got to go back there before I could think of going to college.
But now that you've been in the States so much, you've traveled around, you've seen hockey, you see the college lifestyle that these kids lived. So just in a kind of a fantasy world, which one would you pick?
Oof, I don't know them all, but they're all supposed to be wicked. The one that I've kind of paid attention to a little bit is North Dakota, just the facility, and it's supposed to be phenomenal. But the old teammate Commodore played there. Maybe there, but man, those Boston college places. I got a guy that his buddy's going to Miami, Ohio. I don't know if you can go wrong going to some of these colleges. My nephew's in Alaska, and he's having a hell of a time. So I don't know if there's any wrong choice.
Yeah, and that ASU, what they're doing in Tempe, looks mind-blowing as well.
Well, I was gonna say ASU, but I almost felt like that one's too easy.
Speaking of facilities, and now that you're back in Calgary, the new rink. How do you explain to someone how desperate a guy that's sat on the benches at the Saddle Dome, you have lived in that rink, how desperate where we are in 2024 and going into 2025 did Calgary need a new facility for their NHL team?
Wow, I think the process started in 2004 after we went to the finals. I think that ownership had started to think that putting together a plan, and then in 2014 they put out a plan. I think it was around 2014. Anyway, it's long overdue. That building was a unique build, cool arena at the time, but so out to date. And not just for hockey. They've missed out on so many concerts and revenue-producing events because of the design of that stadium or rink or arena or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. It's long, long, long overdue. I got to say, being from Sask, proud Rider fan, the Riders are in town on Friday night, and I want to go watch the game, but I don't want to go to that stupid stadium. McMahon's also a dump, so they need two new stadiums here.
Are you still going to go, though, and just take in the atmosphere?
I might have to. My buddy Corey Mace is coaching. I got to go down there and give him some pointers and get the boys rolling.
That's it. What's your take on the Draisaitl signing up the road in Edmonton?
Well, I'm a lifelong Oiler hater, so I don't like it at all, but I think it's a good thing for the Oilers. I think that it gives a pretty good indication as to what those two top guys are thinking, and that they like it there and they're going to settle in. That just means the Oilers are good for another decade.
Do you think that guys, and maybe not to the extent of basketball when they loaded up in Miami and they started bringing buddies there, but do you think they're going to be able to now to snag those late trade acquisitions, maybe the rental players, just guys that want to go have probably a really good chance of winning with them there?
Well, Skinner's not going there unless McDavid and Draisaitl are there, right? Like, I do. I think, this is where I think they're going to benefit. You got a guy that maybe had a down year, becomes a free agent, isn't maybe demanding the money that he thought he would. Mm-hmm. Go spend a year in Edmonton. Yeah, like you're guaranteed to cash in. You go play with McDavid or Draisaitl on a top end team. Do it for a year or two. Then you're going to cash in for sure. So, guys like winning hockey, and that team is positioned where they should be. I mean, they're like the cap crunch will hit them with Bouchard and stuff, but they're going to be good, which means guys are going to want to come play there.
You know, you played on, I think, 3 NHL teams. Sidney Crosby's only ever played with one. He re-ups for 2 years there. Penguins aren't going to be good anytime soon. Was that surprising, or do you think that he's just won everything? He's done everything he wants to do. He kind of wants to finish it off in Pittsburgh?
I think you're bang on. I think he's won everything, and if he wants, I don't think they're going to be good either, but I think that Sid would rather have the challenge of lifting the team into the playoffs than maybe taking a stab at one more cup run. If he'd never won, there's no way he does that and continues to sign there. I think that he would chase the cup. But I'm not surprised. He's won so much. He's done so much. And go try to pinpoint where you can go win a cup.
Yeah.
It's not, right? Like, you can think, well, I'm going to go to Edmonton and I'm going to put him over the top. Well, an injury here or there and everything changes. It's real hard to pick a spot that or guarantee you're going to win the cup. And him leaving, that would be the only reason to leave. I just think he would rather have the challenge of helping the Penguins than helping another team hoist the cup.
My last one, maybe it's a little bit back to the Edmonton Oilers and the shorter offseason. You're a guy that made 3 long runs in the playoffs and Stanley Cup final. When that offseason is that short and the grind is so hard, is it that those October games, that first month, maybe 2 of the season, one would think from the outside looking in it would be difficult, Rhett. Is it?
You know what I found? It wasn't the first month. The first month you still had some momentum and some good vibe, but it ran out real fast. The dog days came earlier. Like January and February are always tough months in the hockey season. It's a long way till the end of the year. There's cold weather depending on where you're at. But usually it doesn't hit you till January. I found the years we went to the finals was that in November, I was like, oof, I'm tired. I'm tired. And I think it actually falls on the coaching staff and the organization to recognize that and make sure guys are getting the rest and the recovery. And, I mean, they're real good at it nowadays. You got to remember, 25 years ago, the first time it was 30 years ago, the first time I went to the finals, the conditioning, the sleep, there wasn't a lot of recognition for rest. It was pick up, pull your pants up, let's get going here. There wasn't a lot of, sorry you guys don't feel good, we'll give you the day off. No, that didn't happen. I think they're a lot better at it nowadays. They're in better shape, too. These guys don't get wore out like us old bastards.
Yeah, well, and you know why? Because after those runs, you were like at Sunnyside Bar at Emma Lake, maybe a little too much with all the Saskatoon boys in the off season. All right. This has been awesome. Let's do this again maybe when the season starts. And we're all looking forward to seeing Rhett Warner get on the TV or something this weekend when the Riders play the Stamps.
Yeah, I'll be streaking the field after the winning touchdown for sure.
Hey, maybe nothing below just Raiders shirt up top. How about that?
I'd be proud to wear it, absolutely.
Right on, Rhett. Thanks so much. You're a beauty.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too.
Fall is here and the water is fine. Water Vision Pool and Spas in Moose Jaw is your one-stop destination to relaxation. After a busy summer, the showroom is now fully restocked with hot tubs and accessories. In stock right now, brand new hot tubs starting at only $97.50. You